Well, we're starting over here. Yeah, we had the 70s porn music already. And hello, ladies, gentlemen, everybody in between. How the heck are ya? I am indeed Diana Clary and the Lavender Lady. This is Coffee with Lavender, and it is Sunday, the 26th of July. Oh, my word, how time flies. It is just totally amazing. And then with me, over to my right in the co-pilot seat, we have the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful Kate Farr, Bionic Dance. Hi, dear. How are you?
Oh, I'm just fucking peachy. How are you?
Oh, a little bit this, little bit that. Good for me, good for you. I don't know what I'm talking about. I never do. Yeah.
I can't help but notice that, you say ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. What about the ones on the periphery?
Yeah, I had a thought about that one day, and I really should figure out a way to get those guys in there too. Because
Hmm?
there are so many ways to look at yourself, and I know people who look at pretty much every one of them. I mean, bi gender, A gender, B gender, Q gender. I don't know, if you will.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not to
Um,
mention all the sexualities. I saw like a big graphic of all of the different queer flags out there, and there's like 30 of them.
yes.
You know,
Yeah.
there's so many where it's like, okay, this is exactly like the one next to it, except for this one detail. And it's like, okay.
Oh
You
my
know,
word!
yeah.
At least we're not
Anyway,
doing that. We're not doing that attack helicopter thing, so we can just let that alone. We're not going to do that.
well,
Um, and then behind the co-pilot seat, we have in the navigation station our chief engineer, our navigator, Mom NATO. Hello, honey. How are you? How are you?
I could be better, could be worse. Tired,
Oh,
but I'm
yeah.
here.
Okay, then that's a good thing. Yeah, we were talking
Hmm.
about stuff in the green room, and say or
Yeah.
not as you will. That's fine. Oh my,
Hmm.
oh my, oh my, and of course, we cannot forget. Last and certainly least, in the
Hey!
plexiglass. In the plexiglass nose, our very own bombardier tornado. Hi, how are you?
Hey everyone! Another beautiful day in the COVID epicenter of the world, the
Oh,
completely blocked sunshine state known as Florida.
We're
oh
not this
wow.
well.
Now I saw
Uh,
the mention in Twitter of the article that appeared in The Hill. For those of you who are familiar with that publication, I think it leans slightly right of center, but I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, this morning I had seen that in the Sun Belt, the southern Sun Belt, there were some real problems with the governors
hmm.
that had stuff open up and prevented Democratic mayors from countermanding those orders.
Yeah,
Oh my, yeah, it's
it's
Speaking of the hill,
yes, dear.
just it's funny that you actually mentioned that. I'm dropping a link in the internal chat.
so here's what I'm trying to figure out, okay?
Yes.
Trump has said if you don't reopen your schools, we're going to defund you. And I'm like, okay, so you're not going to give money to people for the thing that they're not opening that doesn't need funding because they're not opening it. Ooh, such
Oops.
a threat.
Yes.
Am I right? No, I
Yeah.
mean, I suppose you could say we'll defund the whole fucking state and not just your school system, but still.
Yeah, it's I don't. He loves that defunding thing.
Does he
Whatever.
ever?
Yeah, whatever. If you do something he doesn't like, or if you don't do something he wants,
yeah.
pull the funds. Yeah. Well, they
Well,
did that
he
to
is
Montana years
personally
ago too.
slighted
But
part.
what? What? What?
Well,
It's just that whole he's personally slighted and therefore he gets revenge thing. That's just like,
I
the hell
guess.
is this nonsense?
That's
What I
childish.
do know is
Mhm.
parents in Florida are sitting here going, you've got 12,000 new cases a day popping up.
even
Do
Republicans
we really
are.
want to send our kids to school in August and risk that they get COVID-19 and then bring it home to us?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it gets worse because 80% of people, including 3 out of 5 Republicans, are
Are
saying,
going, no, we don't want to reopen the schools.
Right, right. Yeah, that's a little bit older, honey, than the article I saw this morning. And unfortunately, I lost the link. I closed it too
Let's
early
see.
inadvertently. There was one I remember from the 15th, but I think this particular article that I saw this morning was from later than the 15th. Yeah, this article that you're talking about is from the 8th. Yeah, Florida emerges as the world's new epicenter for COVID-19.
I found it.
It's just like, okay, I saw an article recently, like as recently as this morning, talking about how the United States is a very scary place to live right now.
Yes.
You know, they're not kidding. Like just outlining that the United States is not just becoming fascist, not just becoming Naziist or ish, but it's like all of the worst things that have ever happened in the world are happening all at once here, where there's never been that concentration of all of them together
Yes,
in all of it.
yes.
It's a
And
ticking
that's
time bomb.
scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seriously, at this point, I think our only hope is secession, revolution, et cetera, people saying, screw this noise, I'm out.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking that, yes, I don't personally think. I mean, somebody correct me if you've got some really good stuff that would suggest otherwise. But I'm thinking that we simply cannot pull ourselves out of this. We've got to just totally turn it off and turn it back on.
I'm not even sure about that. I think we need to tear it apart and upgrade.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think about rewriting the Constitution, for example. I'm thinking that that is absolutely necessary because there's not enough to find in the U.S. Constitution. Things that have had loopholes appear recently. I mean, even define citizenship, really lay out voting rights, and yeah, I know the whole voting thing. That was the bullshit that went along with slavery and everything else. I know about that one.
By the way, Diana, I found the link that you had earlier.
Okay.
Sunbelt, is it listening to Trump gave Sunbelt governors a new COVID-19 headache?
I believe that's it. Yeah. Do they
Look
specify?
in the internal chat.
Do they specify the names of the 7 states? I think.
Florida, Georgia, Arizona, Texas, South Carolina, Arkansas, and Tennessee. So, yes.
That's the one. That's the one. Let's go here.
But to what you were saying before,
This is my
I mean,
country.
like you've
Yep,
heard
that's it.
Trump say, you've heard Trump say that if they allow mail-in voting, he'll never win.
Right.
You know,
right.
and
Right.
it's like,
He's doing it regardless.
He's saying the quiet part loud that he wants fewer people to vote. He wants to cheat. He's right flat out saying he wants to cheat. And it's very similar to the whole, what was it FDR who needed the term limits because a Republican would never win again? It's
Right, yeah.
It's like what they're saying, things are very popular with the public and it's not the stuff we want, so we have to curb the ability of the proles to be able to shape policy.
Bingo.
You know?
Yes.
And it's just like, why don't you people admit that maybe you've got the wrong idea of how to run things? Maybe you're on the wrong side of history.
Yes.
That's the thing. Nobody believes they're the villain of their own story, but sometimes you fucking are.
Yeah. I do
Oh yeah,
know.
and in an ironic twist, you know how Trump's entire rhetoric has been saying it's a pandemic, but it'll go away. It'll go away. We'll have this under control. We'll have this under control. Trump's finally admitting you need to social distance, you need to wear masks, and this thing is going to get worse before it gets any better. coming from Trump himself.
Well, the reason, as I understand it, that he originally started out acting like COVID was no big deal was because he's just terrified of anything going wrong on his watch because it'll make him look bad. Never mind that if he actually stood up like a boss and said, "Okay, I'm handling this," like that would make him look like the hero he thinks he is.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't do it because he was like, close my eyes, it'll go away eventually, and I'll look fine.
Holy
And
shit.
it just doesn't work that way. He is so simple. That's the only way I can put it. He is so simple.
Mhm.
It's like he thinks it like the way a 5-year-old thinks the world works after watching cartoons.
Yeah, and
Hell, not even I'm that bad.
I have to give you that. Okay. Yeah, he's very single-minded as well. I mean, there's only one option for him. Things are not multi-layered to Donald Trump. Yeah, he cannot keep up with multifaceted things happening, and yeah.
Well, and like if I was a White House official of any sort, I would make sure that I was the very last person to say anything. I'm
Right.
the last person in the room to speak because Trump goes with the last thing he hears.
Yes.
It's like the first person could make perfect sense and he goes, do that. And then 3 or 4 or 5 other people speak and they're talking complete shite. And he goes with that because it's the last thing.
Yes, and you have to send everybody out of the room before you say your thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
So what would
horrible.
you do with me if you were
Hoping
my
that, like, he and Joe Biden both get the COVID.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you do realize that we have passed 70,000 new coronavirus cases nationwide.
What,
Okay.
per day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the really scary part? Like, I have never, like, in the last, I want to say 5, 6 years, whatever, I've never not woken up either stuffy or with a runny nose. And now every morning I'm like, oh, shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and
I'm
then-
sitting here going, oh, this ain't the COVID, is it?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
you
really.
get so frightened. Yeah, at the smallest things that may not be related at all, but they are similar, and it's like, oh shit, what am I in for today? Uh-huh.
I mean, like after I get up and, use the toilet, feed the cats, et cetera, check
Yeah.
email, I'm fine again. But, I wake up thinking, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's going to be like this for a
It's,
good long time.
I mean,
No, I personally, tell me I'm full of it. If I'm full of it, I usually am. But the rest of the world, everything outside of the U.S., which the U.S. thinks is the entire world, they may be in good shape after the middle of 2021, something like that, maybe, if we're lucky. U.S. is probably not going to be anywhere near okay until the middle of 2025. And no,
Well,
I'm not exaggerating.
Well, I've never been like, I don't know. I mean, our future is so uncertain right now.
Yeah.
Like, I've never looked at the world and gone, like, I have no idea what's coming next. I've always looked at the world and said, okay, that's a crisis, but we can reach some sort of equilibrium again. We can go back to normal again, maybe start improving even.
Mhm.
But now I'm sitting there going, it's anybody's game right now.
Yes.
It could, we could end up with a revolution. We could end up like with an actually reasonable Congress because we're not getting a reasonable president. I mean,
really.
it's like, but even if we do, we're in for a long ass disaster before we start improving things.
Yes, we are.
there
And
needs to be- There needs to be a complete reorganization of the American mindset.
Oh,
because
yes.
the people are as much the problem as the politicians, because they're just like accepting all of this nonsense. Now, I was reading an article that Wagner sent to me, and it was like uh, uh, the United States seems to think that carrying an assault rifle into Starbucks is a right, but healthcare for everybody is not.
Uh-huh,
And
uh-huh,
our
uh-huh.
priorities are so fucked up, and the things we're willing to accept as normal, the rest of the world is boggled by it. I mean, they don't understand, like, they don't get why it is we allow people to wallow in debt, why we make healthcare and housing so uncertain, why we just accept that our quality of life is shit. They don't
Yes,
get it.
absolutely. Yeah, and well, it's great how we accept that the quality of life is shit while trying to convince ourselves that our quality of life is better than it is anywhere else.
America, the best country on earth. Blah, 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 blah.
That was never the case. It was never the case that the U.S. was the best country on earth. However, it was the case that it was a hell of a lot better than it is now. I can
Well,
remember a time when you looked forward to sunny skies, if you will. You know, you looked forward to tomorrow being a little bit better than today. And no, not anymore.
Well, I can kind of understand the sentiment of the best country on earth. I mean, for a while there, we were like on the cutting edge of technology. We had defeated, well, we had won World War II and helped, like, we developed all this stuff. It seemed like America was on the up and on the up and on the up, leading the world in terms of its direction, if not actually leading the world. And
Mm-hmm.
now we like grew fat and lazy on our profits and let everything slide because we took it as axiomatic that everything we did was right and that we were making progress, we were shaping the world in our image, and it was just bullshit.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Um, and in many cases, the shaping the world in our image was part of the problem.
Mm.
Um, I don't know that we would have the kind of problems we have involving the Middle East were we not the meddlers we were 50 years ago.
Well, I mean, like the whole profit motive of oil, oil, oil.
Yeah.
And like, I still don't know why the US has such a hard on for Israel. But also, it's just those regime change wars that we keep doing. We think of ourselves as the world's policemen, and we're not.
Yeah, well, the whole world's policeman, that's been, oh Lord, a century and a quarter already. That was, that was Teddy Roosevelt, basically, wasn't it? Where he started getting that idea, the whole walk softly and carry a big stick, um, the whole Banana Republic thing.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, because we were very, very involved in South America before we were involved in Palestine. Um, God, what's Granny? Hi, how are you, dear? Yay! Oh my word! Oh my, 13 watching now. Thank you guys, everybody. Really, this is great. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, Granny says Israel is because of Armageddon. It's a nod to the Christian right. Is it? I'm not sure. I don't know the mindset in immediate post World War II world politics. I mean, were they thinking that sort of thing in 1947? Or and I know, Israel didn't exist until 48, but I'm thinking pre-Israel. Um, was that what was going on, or is there something else that we have to think about?
Well, I do wonder, like, how much of the religion is an excuse and how much of the oil is excuse. I mean, I know that there's fundies out there who say, oh, we're furthering God's work by supporting Israel because they're Abrahamic just like us. But then I wonder how much of that is an excuse to grab the oil. You know, we have to stop them over there before they come over here, et cetera, et cetera.
Well,
That nonsense.
Israel is Abrahamic the way we are, yeah, but so is the PLO. I mean, God, Islam is as Abrahamic
Well,
as
okay, but
Christianity or
I know they don't
Judaism.
consider Islam that way. They look at Islam the way most of us look at Jar Jar Binks. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
it's like
yeah.
it's a sequel, but it's not as good as the original.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
sure that's how they look at it. I'm
Yeah.
sure of
Oh,
it.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you've got that point.
Mm.
Oh my. I do like what Christopher Hitchens said at one time, though. I'm gonna remember where it is. I've got to look it up. Talking about the Christians, trekking everywhere and then settling in the one part of the Middle East that has no oil. Meaning Israel. That was that was great. Yeah, because you cannot support Israel in order to get Israel's oil because they have none.
Well, but we're not invading Israel, are we?
No,
I
but
mean,
if
it's all the rest of the Middle East.
yeah, but if we were playing nice with Israel in order to get oil, well, we would be very disappointed. They don't have any to give us.
The feds beating up the Statue of Liberty.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Because Liberty, they're kicking Liberty's ass right now.
Uh-huh.
To see that's just painful to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Greg. It was after 47. Yeah. A bit after the end of World War II, but not that long after. Well, it couldn't be that long after because Israel became a state at 48. And then we have this kitty over here who's being a kitty. Oh, Lord.
Well, okay, I have to admit, I don't know the history of Israel and all that. But, like the Christmas carols and shit always talk about Jesus as the King of Israel. So how was that a 1946 thing or whatever?
Although I've got a question.
No, actually, I want that one answered first.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, okay, when you're doing the Christmas Carol thing about the King of Israel and all that stuff, they're singing about the old.
Columbia.
They're singing about the Old Testament, when you were looking toward the Messiah as the King of Israel.
Okay, not the part that confuses me. It's the Israel part.
Well, what they're doing is okay. Where do I put the emphasis on the syllables? Misattributing the events of the Old Testament to the New Testament. They're fucked up in their history, is what they're doing.
Still not the part I'm asking about, though. These Christmas carols probably existed before the 1940s.
Oh yeah,
and they were saying Israel.
1840s.
But they were saying Israel. Okay,
Yeah,
whatever. But
they're singing about
still...
they're singing about Isaiah. those prophecies that the Christians say heralded their Jesus, which of course do not. But yeah, that whole thing that really wasn't. And I'm full of it, I know.
Ow, Columbia. Reel in the claws. Gosh.
Now, of course, my question is there a king of is fake?
You're just not as good as Kate. Okay,
go stand
you've got to
in the corner.
accept that. It was a noble effort. I'll give you that. Scheiße. Scheiße. Well, yes, Israel was a state before 47, much before 47. Yeah.
Well, that was the answer I was after.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because you kept talking about the state of Israel only existed after the 40s or whatever the fuck, and I'm like, I thought it existed a long ass time ago.
Okay, yeah. What I see what I did wrong. What I was not saying, what I was saying tacitly, Israel was not the state it is now. prior to 47. Yeah, it was a different state, but it was indeed a state. Yeah. Oh gods, when was the last time they actually prior to 40? When did Israel fall prior to 48? I cannot remember. Yes, along with Judah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know that one, harmonica man. Jesus will walk into an Holiday Inn, put 3 spikes on the counter, and ask, "Can you put me up for the night?" Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that joke is so old, though.
It's older than I am, for God's sake. Yeah, and I'm going to be getting some mileage out of that one. I mean, it's still July, okay, so I can still feel the pains of old age here. Oh my, oh my. No, as far as the current state, I heard some mumblings that it was over defense, something involving Turkey, but I'm not exactly sure. You know, we're looking back at the 60s at the latest for this stuff. I'm going to have to study. I'm going to have to look and find out. Because, yeah, I don't know of any strategic reason to be, if you'll excuse the expression, sucking Israel's member the way the U.S. does.
I thought you were about to say teat, but go on.
Yeah, no, they're not feeding us. We're feeding them. Yeah. But yeah, there's something DOD involved, but I'm not exactly sure what it is.
I wonder how much better this world would be if we could just secularize the government completely. I mean, because let's face it, religious people don't need, or at least Christians don't need, all of the protections and advantages they're trying to grab. They just don't need it. But they see themselves as underdogs, as oppressed, like they fucking are. How is a majority oppressed?
Right,
but,
right.
I mean, it's like if we could just say, look, be religious. Just be religious over there.
Yeah, really and truly, because they are not asking for rights. They are not asking for equality. They want a theocracy. Many of them have said it, that the only government they feel is valid is a Christian theocracy. I've heard Cy say that more than once. The presuppositionalist Cy ten Bruggencate. And
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, and
Cy ten Bruggencate, is that the guy who basically does all that whole presuppositionalist stuff?
He's one of them. He's one of the more annoying presuppositionalists.
I have a video where I saw him in the park and tried to debate him, and when I started beaming, he turned off my microphone.
I saw that one.
It was him preaching into a microphone. There was a separate microphone and literally a soapbox, and I was standing on it, and when I started kicking his ass, he just turned off the mic.
Yep.
So you're telling me that when you were winning against him, he didn't want to hear it, and so he decided, nope, you don't get to talkie anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. And you know what? I really hate him for a reason very few other people can claim. Because every time I hear his fucking name, I hear, what, Cy ten Bruggen me? I don't think so. I mean, seriously, I hate saying his name. It makes me feel icky inside.
I could halfway imagine, yeah.
Just call him Cy ten the cellmate.
Say that again?
Cy ten the cellmate.
You lost me.
He's trying to refer to Kent Hovind.
I mean, I know Kent Hovind. I know all the shit that happened. I'm just not seeing the connection.
There is none. No, if you want a connection between Bruggencate and one of the Hovens, it would be Eric. Those two are fast friends.
But I don't get what Tornado was trying to say, like, at all.
Yeah, well, I think he's misattributing. I think. Not sure, but I think. Yeah,
I don't know.
Granny.
I still love that one song that came out when Kent went to prison. It's like, aren't you, Kent?
No, you're a fucktar.
Oh, well, whatever. No, actually, at one point, I'm pretty sure they went to asshole as well, I think. I'd have to check again. It's been a while since I heard it, but still.
Hi, Purple. How you doing, sweetie? Yeah. And then we have Philip Lurch. Did I pronounce that correctly? Or, yeah, I know that you're new because you're naked. Morning. How you doing?
Like, I've found that if I have the chat window open in a separate monitor, it's actually hard to see unless I move the window in a certain way. I would have... No, there's not enough vowels there. At first I thought if there had been an E between the R and the CH, I might have gone with Lorech, but there isn't one.
Oh, okay. Because, yeah, I see the OE and immediately think the O umlaut in German, which is an alternate spelling for that, is OE. So,
I think we're disputing the wrong word here.
Yes, no, we are talking about two different things. Yeah, you're putting an extra E in there compared to what I'm talking. Another E compared to what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It sounds like
Lorech.
It sounds like you're talking about something that's already there.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm talking about something that's already there because I'm not all there. But that's another story entirely. Yeah. If you've been around here much at all, you already know that.
Do people recognize me as being around here?
Oh, okay. If Philip is a friend of Angie's, he's fine people then. Okay, yay.
So, okay, you know how there are names for just about every sound the human can make? You know, and there's like a specific symbol for it?
Uh-huh.
I have never actually heard one for the phlegm gargle sound that is in so many languages. Like, you know, Yiddish, where they have a lot of at the end of shit.
Yeah, the gutturals.
German too. Yeah. Like there's got to be a name for that shit, but I've never found it.
Are you referring to guttural?
No. You know how the upside down E is a schwa?
Yes.
Well, that's a name for a syllable. It's not a type of syllable the way a guttural would be.
Okay, fine. I got you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want the sound as in loch, or as in where you're about to huck up a loogie, and.
Well, I remember one of my Jewish relatives said, like, I think my mom was telling the story about her grandfather. I don't remember exactly, but whenever they forgot the name of a dish that was on the table, it was like, "Hey, honey, could you pass the huch?" Every time.
Oh my. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna look up if we can find it. We're gonna try to find some syllables and letters and stuff and things, and I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about, but that's another story. Okay, the International Phonetic Alphabet uses an X to represent that sound.
Yeah, but what's it called?
I don't know, unfortunately. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still amused by the word schwa, because for a while there, and maybe they're still around, I don't know, there was a group called schwa. And it was like alien believers. You know, people who say, oh yeah, people are getting abducted all the fucking time. Cattle mutilation, that's all true.
Oh, okay, okay.
Why would you mutilate cattle anyway? If you want to get cattle, you should probably keep them whole. That way, oh, gee, you can grab food.
Yeah, but they're probably studying them, like, scientifically. For all we know, they can't even process, like, our red meat. I don't know. Of course, that also assumes they're real.
Yeah, and that's a big assumption going on over there. That's the thing I'm thinking about, and there are times I lie awake nights thinking about this sort of thing, and if you lie awake at night thinking about that sort of thing, you shouldn't be allowed to lie awake at night. But uh, how close would extraterrestrial life be chemically, physically, to terrestrial life? I'm thinking
Well,
it.
you know,
Hmm?
oh, go on, go on. I thought
I'm
you were
thinking
done.
it might have to be pretty close because I'm thinking
Um,
the chemical reactions that lead to it might well be universal, but then again, maybe they're not.
Well, I was actually having an argument about this with someone on my YouTube channel yesterday about the taxonomy of alien life. He was insisting that like aliens cannot be classified as animals because they don't share an ancestor with something from Earth. And I'm like, okay, but see, the thing is that if they, well, I don't want to get into the whole thing because I could, go on for a while. But basically, we're in looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a
Whack,
duck
whack.
territory here. If it does all of the same biological things that Earth animals do, terrestrial animals do, I see no reason not to call them animals, despite the lack of ancestry. It was kind of like the way I classify atheism, where it's a big circle of non belief, and then you've got the like hard atheism, soft atheism, this, that, and the other thing, anti-theism, et cetera, in that larger macro category. And I was
Hello.
saying we need to expand what kingdom means and then narrow it down, possibly by adding another classification for origin between, say, kingdom and phylum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because a lot of what we think right now is very human centric. It's like even just how a lot of folks will not call animals people, that they think people is a synonym for human. And I think if we ever did meet extraterrestrials, intelligent ones, and like they heard that, they'd be insulted.
Yeah. I mean, really, and as far as the eminals and people go, I mean, you just look at the definition here. If you have an internal digestive tract, if you're multicellular, if you are an animal. I mean, that's just the way it is, and I
Mhm.
see no reason for prokaryotes, eukaryotes not arising elsewhere. I mean, the processes I'm thinking are simple enough that it might not matter that much where they occurred,
Mhm.
as long as the chemicals involved were not destroyed with UV radiation or some bullshit like that.
Well, it is kind of wacky when people insist on a distinction that's not actually there. Like, I was having an
Yes.
argument in a live stream about, I don't even remember what it was. It was like a legal thing, probably about people being arrested. I don't remember. And I was pointing out that the law said one thing that did not follow, like the interpretation that the other side was having wasn't there. It didn't say it. And they said, oh, it's implied. And I'm like, okay, but that's not good enough. Like when a law is ambiguous in a courtroom, the win goes to the person who points out the confusion. Like the win goes to the person who didn't write the law because they fucked up and left that loophole open.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I was like, look, the law says this. It does not imply what you're saying in any way whatsoever. It's very pinpoint specific. And they were like, nah, you're just wrong. Nah. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I mean, I know you love to argue with me, but in this case, the facts are not on your side.
Hello there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
I know what the reason is. It's because I'm right and you're wrong, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and these are people who have a history of antagonism towards me, so they probably just disagreed on principle. Oh, it's Kate. Kate's always wrong.
Boy, boy, I don't get that. I mean, not only in reference to you, but in reference to anybody. You know, the whole "I'm right, you're wrong, and go fuck yourself." Um, there's always room to be wrong.
And there's
Definitely.
always room for JELLO.
Yes, I was just looking at JELLO.
Hmm?
I was at Target, the French boutique, getting my medications for the next quarter, and I had the idea, gee, I think I'd like maybe to get some Jello and or gelatin of some sort, because there are other brands besides Jello, and I couldn't find any decent selection at Target. Just
So go to a supermarket. Target's not the place to go for food.
Well, I happened to be there,
Mm.
on other business. So I thought, yeah, I mean, they had strawberry and they had lime, and that was it. So
Ooh,
I'm,
lime. I
hmm
love lime.
I'm
Um,
gonna have to go to the local Save-A-Lot or whatever it is and see what I can get. Because for some
I love
stupid
Save-A-Lot.
reason, I have a taste for Jello.
well, you know what? I'm willing to call it and say that much like Band-Aid, Jello is a perfectly generic term for all gelatin snacks.
Yes, yeah, I'll give you that, definitely. I'll even tie a bow on it. You've got
Mm.
some names like that. You've got Jello, you've got Kleenex, you've got
Mm.
Band-Aid. Yeah.
Mm. I was trying to think of another one. Kleenex is good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, those names are so ubiquitous that it became natural to just associate them with the generic product. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, I guess the pedantic part of me finds that unacceptable, but the hey, it's no biggie part of me says, shut up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, for a good while, there was a paucity of competition. Um, I mean, when I was quite young, all I knew was Kleenex. I didn't know there was anything else out there because I didn't see any of it.
I'm trying to remember. There's another one. It's either masking tape or bug spray or something like it, and I can't remember which one it is. But there's one where someone got snarky that I used it as a generic, and I'm like, really? I mean, really, is that the hill on which you want to plant your flag?
What are you speaking of, Raid or something like that, or?
No, it's not really. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it was some product like that. Um, I don't remember.
Oh
I
no,
don't
this
know.
is an interesting little one, which got me looking some things up, and I actually learned something many years ago. Are you familiar with a bug spray called Black Flag?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then when I saw that at first, it was okay. Why are they calling that Black Flag? And then I decided to look it up, and then yes, black flying a black flag indicated that you were giving no quarter. So that
Hmm.
made sense with the name of the book. Yeah, it killed everything.
Well, I mean, given that it's basically the opposite of a white flag, which means surrender, I mean, I grok.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, horses
Yeah.
hooves equals Jello. Yeah.
You know, somewhat,
Ah.
even when I was like, even when my name, or sorry, name age was in the single digits, some part of me rebelled against the idea of like I wish we would choose either black is for things like death and this, that, and the other thing, or it's for like a slang term for people of a certain race. But the fact that we associate black with so many negative things, I mean, it bugged me. I was like, but black people aren't bad and everything else black is. Couldn't we call them brown or something?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
You
well,
know,
yeah,
or
you hint at the multicultural thing here. Um, One thing I was surprised at when I discovered that not everybody associates, for example, black with death. There are the Koreans who associate white with death and mourning and
mm,
things like that. Yeah, and totally opposite to what I knew at the time I learned that, and it was like, wow, I wonder how that happened.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess in a weird way, I kind of understand it. But the one where I swear I will fight to the death is the whole thing about how people associate vanilla with plain. Bullshit.
Uh,
Vanilla is anything but plain. But people, for some reason, I'm just like, I don't get it. Why? How? Why? I don't get it. It's
I don't
just
know.
like, I mean, maybe it's because it's colored white and that's like assumed to be a measure of purity. I don't know, but
I was
which is
about to
also
suggest
weird
that.
because vanilla beans, vanilla extract, also not white.
Right. Yeah, it's a very
So
dark.
boggled.
It's a very dark brown if you do it right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
I didn't get it. Like I've started using white bread instead of plain.
okay. Okay.
I mean, because you want to talk about bland, white bread is bland.
Yeah, isn't it? Oh my
Mhm.
word. Yeah, I don't understand where the whole white equals vanilla and vanilla equals white thing came from. I don't. Um,
Mm. Well, it's plain part that bothers me.
oh well, that too. Yeah, and as you say,
No, not
it
that
is.
too. That only, frankly.
Yeah,
It's the plane that drives me up the wall because it's not.
yeah, and it's not at all. It's definitely got a flavor to it, and it's a flavor that I like and seek out and things like that.
Mm. And if you put
Um,
enough in, it can almost be sensual.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm.
Um, oh my. You. Purple says
Mm.
anytime someone says plain, I ask if they have helicopter flavor instead.
Mm. That sounds like some shit I would pull.
Yeah, I thought of you immediately. Well, I do that a lot, but that's beside the point. Uh,
Still, I mean, like one of my favorite things to do, and I'm sure I've mentioned it before, is when I'm making an appointment and they say like, "Okay, how's 10 o'clock?" I go, "Can we make it 10:03?"
uh-huh, uh-huh.
And the weird part is that is so out of the realm of, oh, I get it for some people that they're just like, uh, it's like, yeah, I guess I did break your brain a little, didn't I?
Just totally nonplussed. Yes.
Mm.
Now there's one for you. I gonna have to look that up someday unless somebody already knows. What is the etymology of nonplussed?
Does it
As
have anything to do with math?
I don't know.
I think it's just a general statement of,
Yes, but someone had to come up with it is the point.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well,
Etymology.com is not coming up. What's up with that?
huh.
Here we go. Let's type that non-plucid. Meaning and origin of non-plucid. Says here, past particle adjective from non-plus, which is from Latin, means no more, no farther, or further. I guess that makes sense. No more, addition.
Okay, it kind of does because if you're nonplussed, there's really no more you can do. But now you start getting into motive, or not so much motive, or reason. If you're not able to do any more because you cannot think of any more to do, that might be different to not doing any more because there is no more to do. But
Well, and also the no further part clearly talks about progress. So it's like, I'm confused and I can't get any further with this line of thinking. Yeah. Although it's
mm-hmm.
weird because I always thought of nonplussed as largely indifferent.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like every time I've heard it used, it was someone going meh.
Доброжнее.
I don't know why that disparity exists, but I mean maybe I was getting it wrong, Or maybe the people I was reading got it wrong.
Well, that would have to be the latter because Kate never gets it wrong.
Hmm. Okay.
Oh my. Well,
In the
that's what you always tell me. You know.
Yes, but clearly tongue in cheek. Mm.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Okay, where are we? Over here. There we are. Let's see who's
Oh, good.
saying what. Oh, what do we have?
Well, I was just looking at my Amazon orders, and that anti-static ion brush I ordered is arriving today. So, yay! Hopefully, it'll actually tame this tangled bird's nest.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Anti-static ion brush?
You've never heard of this?
No.
Mhm.
Okay, well, with people with problem hair, a lot of it is just that the hairs themselves repel each other, and that's why you get frizz.
Okay, that I can understand. Okay,
Thus,
so
you're like trying to reverse the ions or some shit and get rid of the static.
okay. I mean, as long as
I've
it's
had one before. It works.
oh, great. Okay, as long as it's got something behind it, rather than this whole David Avocado Wolf thing, you know.
Huh?
Oh, you don't know about him?
Uh-uh.
He's one of the people who is into the negative ions and the ionizers for the air and what the hell
Oh.
else does he do? There's something about avocados that's magical to him. This is how he named himself, and yeah, he's one of those people.
It's not woo. I've had one before and it's effective.
Oh,
I mean,
great.
I've
Okay.
literally, no joke, had science behind it.
Mm. Now you
I
got me
mean,
one.
seriously, like I actually had one that wasn't electronic. It was like just something about the quality of the bristles. It tamed my hair in ways nothing else does.
Now you got me
And,
wondering how it
if it
works.
works as advertised, I can probably use significantly less product in my hair.
Oh, that's always a good thing. Yeah, it really is.
Because
Yeah.
I've been putting like weird gel shit in it to basically wet it down so it stays in place, and that often looks really weird.
I was gonna say, yeah, more often than not, that looks like crap because that'll happen to me. Um, where my hair tends to do that anyway, but when I first washed it, it tends to do the frizz thing. So I'll use something occasionally, and then it's got it plastered down, and that looks like crap.
Well,
Um,
I'll let you know how it works when it arrives if you care, because maybe you want one yourself. But believe me when I say I've used one before and it does the job.
yay!
In fact, it's been really hard to find one lately. Like they used to just sell them in stores, and either they've renamed them or they don't sell them anymore in stores. At least not the non-electric ones.
Oh, what? Are there hairbrushes that you actually plug into the wall?
Oh hell yeah! I mean, I do it with my
Okay.
iron. Why wouldn't you do it with something that's supposed to like remove static?
Okay then. Well, I mean, this gives you an idea of how little how little attention I pay to such beauty care things and everything else. And I mean, it shows. I look like shit most of the time anyway, and I know it. Um,
Well,
but
I've been trying to tame my hair since forever, but I haven't really been able to get good advice from anybody. I mean, goodness knows, not from my parents. My mom loves curly hair and can't understand why I want to get rid of mine.
aha. Yeah, well, de gustibus non est disputandum. I know. I still have to get that through my own thick skull, but I mean, you like something and you like it because you do, or you hate
Hmm.
something and you hate it because you do.
Although, I mean, obviously, sometimes it's completely irrational, like hating people from another race, perhaps. Uh, but I mean, yeah, it's like it's hard to deny what you care about or don't. I mean, it's not even voluntary, really.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw an article that said science has confirmed that like free will doesn't exist, that our brains are tricking us to think so. And I'm like, well, duh. I got there years ago. What's up with science?
Okay, then. Although I still like the way Christopher Hitchens put it, that we do have free will because there's no choice.
Hmm. Well, I don't see like if our brains are biological organisms, and they are. I don't see how free will even could exist. I mean, unless there's something magical going on, we are slaves to our biology, like it or lump it. So I honestly,
Hmm.
genuinely do not understand how free will could exist if we're biological creatures. You have to assume magic.
Okay, then. Yeah, that's something I have to break my brain on at some point. I know we've had the discussions, and I'm the one who leans toward free will. You're the one who maintains there is none, and
But I have to ask
um,
how?
well, there
How do we have free will?
that's what breaks my brain is that I have yet to come up with an explanation that satisfies even me.
But is it just that you want free will, or do you genuinely think we have it? Like, I know a lot of people who are offended by the notion that we're not really ourselves the way they think of it.
Yeah, I think that okay, this may be a distinction without a difference, but I think the way I'm thinking, rather than I want us to have free will, it's I cannot picture us without it. In other
But
words,
why?
I don't want us to not have it.
Well, that's
Um,
kind of what I just said.
yeah, there's a slight semantic thing about agency there, but I
Hmm.
mean, it's one thing to what's a good way to phrase this? It's a good it's a little bit different to want something to not be blue and to want that thing to be blue.
No. No, no, no. I have to dispute that because that's not what we're talking about. Nobody's talking about wanting something to not be something. You
Okay,
know,
so maybe
it's I want that thing that's not blue to be blue. Um is like, I mean, because I think that we don't have free will because of the evidence. I'm not saying I want us to not have free will. I'm saying this is a logical conclusion. Whereas, um, if people are like offended by the notion that we are just biological robots, that's wanting free will to be true.
I think I think I'm thinking somewhat the way Purple described it, and he came up with something that I hadn't had they had to put together. Yeah, he says, I do not know whether or not we have free will, but I will conduct myself under the belief that I have it and am therefore responsible for the consequences of my own actions. And yeah,
Okay,
it's
but here's the problem with that,
okay.
is that you have no choice. If we don't have free will, you have absolutely no choice in that. Um, I mean, like I've had a lot of theists who believe in free will telling me, well, then why do we even have a court system? Why do we have justice? We don't have a choice. Our brains are wired for it. I mean, you can't compartmentalize like, well, we have free will, or rather, if we don't have free will, we still have the choice to like have justice or not, and we chose it deliberately, knowingly, and without the biological robot part. And it's like, but if you are a biological robot, you didn't have a choice to want justice, and it's just like it's the way they seem to think of it is if we realize we don't have free will, we can subvert that fact simply by knowing it, and the universe doesn't work that way.
Mm. Um, I guess
And
the wanting and not wanting in my own head here comes from I think it comes from the appearance of making choices. For example, I mean, I'll feel a craving coming on, and I start reaching for where I used to keep the cigars, and it's like, no, Clarion, you remember 2 years ago you said you don't want to do that. You meant it.
But where does the craving come from?
That comes from just reinforced habit after reinforced habit, or at least as I see it. Where
That's not. No, it's not. Though it's purely chemical.
well, yeah, yeah. In other words, the whole chemical thing, the probability of that chemical thing happening
Okay,
increases as you keep
that's not
doing
my
it.
point. My point is you didn't choose anything. You know, I mean, your brain chose it because of biology, but you didn't will it to be so. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's kind of like, honestly, I think a lot of religion and fantasy and all kinds of stuff just comes from a place of the world is not as special as it should be. The world is too mundane. If the world was in the Harry Potter universe, it'd be a muggle, and a lot of people don't like that. Goodness knows I don't. I mean, I keep telling you about all the fiction I consumed, and when I was little, I insisted, no, someday I'm going to have an alien friend. Someday I'm going to travel to space, Star Wars, Star Trek style. It's coming because that will be nifty, that will be cool, and it'll be much better than this mundane life I'm stuck in. And I think that, I mean, there are so many times I've asked people, is that feeling I get, that feeling of wonder, the same or similar as feeling the presence of God? Because I think they could be very similar. I think they could come from those desires for the world to be more special, to be more magical, come from the same place.
Okay, well, that one, I mean, the whole presence of God thing, I've seen a couple explanations for that one. There's the thing they call third man syndrome. I think it's what it's coming out of your own head. But yeah, that's taking taking a fork in the road.
Desires. I'm talking about desires, not the source of the feeling, but rather why people kind of get addicted to it.
Okay.
You know, is like, but also, is the sensation similar? Is the sensation the same? Because, I mean, you know, when I look at the possibilities presented to me by fiction and my desire for them, and that feeling of like my word, that's so special, and thinking, oh, I'm one of God's chosen people, and he has a mission for me, and I'll go to heaven, and I have a soul, and all of that stuff. It sounds so similar to being a sci-fi fantasy nut.
Okay. Yeah,
Or liking My Little Pony because My Little Pony is cool.
Well, sure, but part of it is also wishing it was real. It's that desire for it to be so that makes me think that the two are similar. You know, I mean, I used to look up at the sky and go, "Where are you, you stupid aliens? Please abduct me. I will literally pay you to abduct me." And they don't fucking do it. You know, and I'm sure there's people out there who are like, but, you know, God is supposed to make shit really cool. He's supposed to bless me and all these things. He's looking over me. He's, you know, if I pray, he'll do me favors, all of that nonsense. And I mean, if you were to swap in aliens for God, how different is it really?
Okay, yeah, I get your point on that one. And then, of course, well, no, if I pray, I will be special. I don't agree with that at all. If I pray, I will be a predator, but that's beside the point.
No, I'm saying what they think.
I'm just giving you a shit. Oh my. Well, Robert, you can be her alien.
I mean, seriously, this one's actually kind of important to me, so don't give me shit over it.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I keep saying in like I was raised on sci-fi. I was raised on fantasy. I mean, like I keep talking about that Goldilocks zone of scripts and special effects and all of that. And it's such a strong part of my character that, I mean,
yeah, I've seen what happens when we run counter to Kate on that one.
I mean, you've seen the tattoos, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Robert says I could be your alien friend. No, wait. I'm alienated. That's something else. Well, actually, Robert could be your alien friend were he to come to the U.S. and then yeah, he would be an alien within the country. No, huh?
Extraterrestrial. Come on.
Okay.
And that's what we mean when we say alien, and you bloody well know it.
Well, actually, this is interesting. I remember being very young, single digits, and in January, I believe it was, I would always see the advertisements in the buses. You know where they put where they used to put the advertising placards above the windows in the two rows there, and you would always see aliens. It is time to register.
Mm,
And I would be a little bit confused because was not familiar with the term alien being used for someone out of country. Um,
well, me neither.
yeah, but it took me a little while to get that one. But once I got it, okay, now there's a new sense for the term. But yeah, that was a common usage until, oh geez, when did you stop seeing that? I'm trying to remember.
We still see it now. People talk about illegal aliens.
Oh well, yeah, okay. But I mean, in other words, the placards on the buses and everything else. I don't see that stuff anymore.
Oh, well, okay. But I mean, like even the pictures I've seen of buses, I do not remember ads above the windows ever.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like ads have always been on the sides of buses below the windows as far as I've ever seen. Like maybe you're right. I'm sure you're right,
Oh,
but
oh, oh, oh.
I've never seen a photo of it.
Our points of view are inverted, and it's my fault. I didn't specify this. I'm speaking of sitting inside the buses and seeing the placards above the windows.
Oh, that. Oh, they still do that. I saw them in Seattle, but I honestly thought you meant the billboards on the outside.
Right, that's where I realized that I had left out some necessary information. Yeah, here I don't see the advertisements inside the buses. I mean, it's always public service and everything. Now, in Chicago, I did see commercial advertisements
Mm.
inside the buses. So, function of audience, maybe.
Well,
Um,
what's funny is like in Seattle, most of the ads were for like lawyers and like bail loans and shit like that.
okay,
And I'm like,
okay.
how many like I didn't think of Seattle as a big crime town, but that shit was everywhere.
Oh, my word.
No. And when it wasn't those, it was car dealerships, which I think is ironic as hell on a bus.
Yes. Well, I don't know. I mean, you don't like waiting for buses. Buy a car with us.
Well, but I mean, the Seattle bus system is so freaking amazing. I was so spoiled by it. When I got to San Diego, I was like, really? These are buses? But yeah, I mean, so the whole don't like waiting for buses thing.
Well, that's one of the things I so dearly love about Chicago is the CTA, especially the Chicago Transit Authority. You don't wait very long at all for a bus. You just walk up to the stop and there is one. 5 minutes after the last one went by. Now there is the other company, I forget what it is called, that operates outside of Chicago proper, where you can stand there and wait a little while, but it's still not an hour the way it is here. Maybe it's 20,
Mm.
maybe it's 20 minutes, but
Yeah, 5 or 10 in Seattle, depending on where you are. I mean, if you're way the fuck out in Issaquah or Everett, no. But in the downtown core, 5 minutes. And half the buses go to the hub anyway. So you could, like, if you're going downtown from, say, the U District or Capitol Hill, just hop any old bus and you'll get down to Westlake Center. So, and
hmm
that's where the bus tunnels are, and that's where all the connections are. So,
yeah, in Schiller Park, I could cross the street, stand at the stop, wait no more than 20 minutes, and grab a bus to go to Rosemont. Um, and then once I was downtown, oh my God, just to go anywhere, yeah, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Um,
Yeah, I mean, you might wait a half hour 45 if you're in the sticks, but otherwise.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then well, the thing with the 20-minute wait, that was out by O'Hare.
Huh.
Because
Wouldn't have thought that.
well, I mean, you're not in O'Hare. You're in the suburb that adjoins O'Hare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
By the way, in case anyone is wondering why I'm so quiet, I'm basically messing around with a world map puzzle.
Okay.
Hmm.
Cool.
Well, if I
Yay!
wanted to do something similar, I do have a Nintendo Switch now, and
It
also
finally arrived, huh?
and I could be working on my animation as well. I have a character that needs building. Mm.
Yeah, the
So
thing about Schiller Park, no, I could stand in the parking lot of the Motel 6 and read the tail numbers of the aircraft that were coming into the airport. They were no, it felt like I could reach up and touch them. Not quite that. Maybe 300 to 500 feet up.
Oh,
But
I saw one of the wackiest photos a while back where you see a runway and then there's a road with a goddamn stop sign crossing it. And
yes,
I'm like, are you kidding me? Number one, how loud is that if a plane's landing? But number two, really? A street across your runway?
oh,
Really?
we've got one of those here. Um, we've got a street across a runway of the county airport where you can get some of the smaller Boeing or Douglas jets, but it's mostly piston engine prop planes. But yeah, there's one point behind, as we say, the air quotes, where the road does go across the runway.
Now, I don't know if what I'm about to describe, would hold up under the weight of an airplane, but if I was in charge, I would have put a tunnel under it rather than having people cross literally the runway itself.
Yeah, I think, at least here, the reason they didn't is there's a wetland that's right there, and burrowing under the runway might have been a little bit problematic, might have been a little bit leaky.
Well, my first thought, honestly, could this hold up under a plane? After that, I'd start thinking wetlands, but first, will this collapse is my first question.
Mm-hmm. And it
Of course, I'm
almost,
also having a very amused vision of a bridge over it. I know no one would ever do that, but it just makes me laugh to think of it. It's like that video on YouTube with the low bridge and footage of just trucks bashing into it, and either like
yeah.
going, or having the roof shredded. I'm just picturing the tail fin
Yes,
on
the
a
620
plane,
bridge.
like with a bridge over the runway, and the tail fin on the plane just go bam.
There's one I saw recently where somebody was playing a piano that was on top of a something similar in shape to one of the double-decker buses that you would see in London, but not quite as high. But still, he's there playing, and then allegedly the vehicle goes under a bridge and it goes slam into the bridge. Now, that's got to be staged because the camera is right there and everything, and you've got the different camera angles that you'd have to set up for.
Well, along similar lines, here's what I'm curious about. You know how a lot of circuses, at least used to, I don't know if they still do, would travel from town to town by train?
Yes.
How many low overpasses have claimed the lives of giraffes? I've wondered that seriously because I mean it's funny, but I still wonder it. Like, has that ever been an issue ever?
Yeah, you have to wonder. At the very least, you'd have to wonder about routing.
About what now?
Routing. Where do you send the train? What route do you have it take such that that does not happen? Yeah.
And the other thing I've often wondered, those double-decker buses, like how prone to tipping over are they if you take a corner at the wrong speed?
I can imagine that they would be rather prone to such thing because the center of gravity has to be uncomfortably high.
Hmm. It's just something I wonder sometimes. I imagine like double-decker buses probably travel no faster than 25 miles an hour on like public roads, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I wonder how much training the drivers are given. Some supervisor says, "Okay, do not go over this speed or it will be dangerous. In fact, just stick to London streets and follow the speed limit. You'll be fine. Just don't take it on the highway and don't pretend you're doing a police chase."
Uh huh. Okay. Hi, Josiah. And I note that Beach 8 says JFK has a taxiway that goes over the JFK Expressway, which will hold an A380.
I don't know, A380. Is that an Airbus?
Yes.
Okay.
And they are kind of heavy. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. Oh, yeah, that's a honker. That's 4 engines. That's a huge plane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember what its passenger capacity is.
Well, that's look upable. Uh, let's see.
Okay. Oh,
That doesn't
wow.
say off the top of my head. I'm weird. Like, why does it not just say?
Well, I
Oh, here
looked
we
up.
go. Stating capacity of 525, though it's certified for up to 853. Merciful Zeus. This has to go like internationally.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, intercontinental, the whole thing.
Now, have you
Yeah,
ever seen those pictures of like design concepts for airplanes that have lounges in them?
yeah, yeah.
Crazy. I wish they would do that. There's also a couple of airplanes that I don't think ever got made where you could pay like extra premium for no joke a room with a bed in it.
Okay, I'm trying to remember if I've seen photos of that or whatever. I'm trying to remember who has done those.
Sweet
I think they were
merciful
designing them in like the 50s and 60s and they just never came to fruition.
Okay. Now, if memory serves me, you were talking about the lounges. Um, if memory serves me, that's what the hump is on a 747. It's the first class lounge, or at least used to be.
Well, but I mean, this is like a cocktail lounge with like tables
Yes,
and
that's what
curtains
I'm
and
talking.
shit.
That's what I'm talking about. Unless I'm full of shit, that's I think that was either what it was when the 747 was introduced, or what it was supposed to have been. Um, let's see.
I'm trying to look up airplane beds and I keep getting beds shaped like airplanes.
Oh, okay. Okay, here we have an article, Dateline, March 13th, 2014. What do you have? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Would be an
Hmm.
amazing way to take a nap, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Oh
but they
yeah.
also have those planes where they're designing them now where some of the seats face backward in order to like maximize how many people can be in the plane. I'm sitting there thinking I hate riding backwards in a goddamn train. I'm not doing it in an aircraft.
Yeah.
Now, I'm looking at an article over here. It looks like a design concept, but maybe not. Maybe it actually flew. A photograph, and then you had Qantas Airlines 747B boasted a luxurious Captain Cook first class lounge. Here's a closer peek into life on the upper deck, and then you've got the photograph over there. I'm going to try to see if I can't save the image. Okay, that ought not to be too bad. And then what we will do is put it in the side chat because I still can't do too well with sharing shit. Downloads. There's the.
Sharing shit sounds like one hell of a weird fetish.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, wait a minute.
So
View
many.
image. Copy
Do
image
country.
location. There we go. That's the better way to do it. That's the better way. And let's see if we can manage. Hello. Okay, let's see if we've got it now. Yeah, we've got it. There it is. Allegedly, this flew in the 1970s. And God, it looks 1970.
Oh, there it is. And let's have a look-see at whatever the Hades this is. Yeah! And you're right, it does look kind of... Well, I could see it in the 60s, too.
Okay, maybe about 1968,
Like-
1969, yeah.
Like, I don't see
Wow.
even one leisure suit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
And
God, those
wait a minute,
pantsuits.
I gotta look again. Yep, everyone in there's white.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, there's one black guy.
Where?
Very bottom.
Are you thinking in the
the
foreground?
picture?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a
Oh,
black guy.
light-skinned
I
black
guess
man.
So it's the contrast of the photo, the weird yellow filter. It was hard to
Yeah.
tell. Fine, one black dude and the rest of it's white. Exception that illuminates the rule.
Yes, indeed. What is the
Well, now,
cartoon
I have-
show where the one black character was named Token?
No, that's South Park.
Dale que es.
When we flew to Okinawa, we flew to Tokyo Airport, and then we had to take an Airbus over to.
I don't remember.
Wow, that's
Tokyo.
interesting. You weren't born then, Talon.
So here's
weren't
that
even a mote in
backwards
my eye
seat
at that
design.
point. Yeah, I don't think I like that very
I'm
much.
not
Yeah,
much
well-
for that.
I'm not okay with it even slightly. If I got one of those backward-facing seats, I'd probably go postal.
Mm-hmm.
I might get airsick.
Well,
and
Mhm, that too.
I don't get airsick. That's the thing.
Right. Well, on the Airbus, they had a set of 6 seats up at the front of the airplane where they put some of us to maximize the space between the aisles that faced backwards. And it was the weirdest sensation to sit in those seats, but that's where we were assigned to sit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
it is not comfortable to fly backwards. It's scary.
Yes,
Because as
and
you're taking off, you feel like you're going to fall forward
yeah,
Mhm.
out of your seat.
I remember the Mercury astronauts, every one of them, stating that they did not like the seating arrangement because in the orbital flights anyway, you were flying backward, and I guess they did that to have you ready for the re-entry attitude and everything. One of them said for a while he flew the correct way, contrary to the rules, just because it felt better. Yeah, but flying backwards, not my. And I don't know how you managed to do it in the carriages, and in the British trains where you're riding backward.
Mm.
But oh, well.
There is a trend I've been seeing on planes lately when I have flown in the last couple of years that honestly is starting to piss me off a little. I prefer aisle seats just because it's easier to get off the plane once you've landed. So the people in the window seats will inevitably close the blind. Always. And I like to be able to look out and see the clouds or whatever. I think that's awesome. But nobody I've sat next to has thought, hey, great idea, right? Now, there was once I didn't know how close we were to landing. And the passenger at the window seat did not open the blind. And the captain didn't say anything like, we're about to land now. And when the wheels hit really hard, I thought we'd hit the mother of all turbulence, and I was terrified.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, we just landed. Okay, I'm glad I didn't wet myself, but boy, was
Oh
it close.
my.
2 falls out of 3, whether I was going to start soiling my drawers.
Okay then. Yeah, and I would always take a window seat because I would grade these pilots on how they landed, especially. But let me tell you, I was not the biggest fan in the world of landing in a crosswind because the sensation was just felt like we were going to fall out of the sky at any minute doing one of these things, on the runway at 370 feet.
Now, okay, you know how if you see an external shot of a plane landing in movies or TV, the wheels inevitably squeak? I
Yeah.
have never heard that ever. Now, granted, I've never been outside of a plane when it's landing, but inside, that sound, kawam, is the
Yeah.
best way I can describe it, or the bump bump, whatever. But the point being that, is that squeak of wheels real? And if it is it maybe like this archaic thing from way back in the early days of planes when they were much smaller and you could hear it when you landed or something? Because there has to be a reason why we think those wheels squeak. There has to be.
Mm-hmm.
But
what do we have here? Airliner. There's a word you don't hear very often anymore. On landing.
I'm at the point where I'm dealing with all the fiddly tiny countries in this puzzle map thingy.
Okay, allegedly here from Quora, which I know that's not necessarily professionals or anything. Why do aircraft tires squeal during landing on movies and television? Basic science. The energy transfer from the aircraft to the wheels upon landing on a static runway tarmac is of kinetic energy momentum of the aircraft to heat generated because of the friction as it lands on the runway and sound, which is heard as the squeal. I'm not satisfied with that answer.
it doesn't say yes, that really happens in real life. I mean, if you look down at, like, I'm looking at the same article, and if you look down, people say, oh, they just had that in movies and shit.
I mean, what I'm thinking, if it does actually happen, I'm wondering if it takes the wheels a little bit of time to spin up once the aircraft is down, in which case the non-rotating wheel would squeal against the tarmac. Now, this is the question I'm asking. I'm not offering that as an explanation.
Sure. But I mean, the real thing is, though, I mean, you're explaining why it would happen, but I've still never heard it happen, and I'm not sure if it's real or not.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've never heard it either inside the craft. What I have heard the thrust reverser engage.
oh, sure.
And they really,
Who hasn't?
they really crank that baby up.
Mhm.
So I mean, there are sounds from the outside of the aircraft that you can't hear within. I just don't know if a squeal, if it does exist, is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's like I can't get a definitive answer. I can't get someone saying, yeah, that's from history. It doesn't do it anymore. Like that's, I mean, it's kind of like, how most laugh tracks on television are just a lot of dead people who
Yes.
applauded, like, yeah, they like they were recorded applauding in the 30s or some shit, and they keep using those same sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, okay. Maybe I'm the only one who's ever noticed this. Maybe I'm not. But much like the Wilhelm scream in movies, there is also a certain door opening sound that is everywhere. If you've ever watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you've heard it dozens of times, and I've caught it in other shows as well. It's this like squeakity squeak squeak squeak, these multiple little squeak sounds. And once you hear it and notice it, you can't unhear it.
Mm. Now, from Purple. Purple says, if you are standing next to the runway, you will hear it. My brother-in-law was ground crew for Northwest, and he mentioned it. Expect weather
Good.
conditions to come into it. Okay. Okay,
Thank
then.
you. Well, I've
Yay!
been curious about that for literally at least a decade, if not more.
Well, hey, now you have a definitive answer.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, and I have no idea what I just said, but that's beside the point.
Mm,
Oh, Shia.
I don't know. I flurble schnard fliegen snaggenfergen.
Oh,
What's
my
weird is
word.
when I say that, people think I'm imitating the Swedish chef. No, I'm going for German. That's where all the N's come from at the end of those words.
Yeah.
Stücke.
The one thing I do like, I don't know if they still do it anymore. Red Bull used to do this. Something called Flugtag. Literally flight day, where you would, it was a build it yourself aircraft sort of thing, and you would glide off a pier, and it was a competition. So whoever got the greatest distance won, and you would have them in various cities, and it would just turn into a whole bunch of fun. I mean, people would build strange aircraft, not even wanting to win. They would just do this just to build the thing and used it. I don't know if they still do it or not.
Sounds like a precursor to Robot Wars, frankly.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of contests out there where it's like build a wacky gadget and then compete against other people who built their own wacky gadgets. I seem to remember, okay, long ass time ago, my neighborhood, when I was being raised, was very close knit. We even had like a day just for the neighborhood where it was like this big barbecue, everyone would show up and all this stuff. And I remember for a couple of years we would have like raft races, I guess, because they weren't really boats. You had to build your own raft and sail it and see who sailed the furthest or farther, whatever, you know. And yeah,
Okay.
it was a thing, and it sounds very similar to what you're talking about in spirit, even if not in specifics.
Yeah, and I guess they're still doing it, except that it's not this year because of the cerveza virus. Um, so let me put this over in the side chat, and that's another
The
thing.
cerveza virus, you said?
Yes.
Corona beer, cerveza is Spanish for beer, cerveza virus.
Also, I am so bored that I just assembled the United States in roughly the way it's assembled, but I didn't do it on the puzzle, so all the pieces are still showing up red.
What on earth are you
Okay
talking
then.
about? What are you doing that you had to assemble the US?
I'm playing another one of those map puzzles.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
just about to mention Purple. I don't know if they still do it or not. Pittsburgh used to have an anything that floats race, and it used to be a lot of fun, where you had to build your own boat, and it was a team sort of thing. So you had more than one person doing this boat thing, and yeah, they had some really wacky stuff going. But then as time went on, um, the uh, the people that were building these watercraft were doing so much engineering, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, where your basic, build it in your garage person could not compete. And
Well, you know, this anything that floats thing you just described sounds remarkably like those raft races I was talking about.
okay, it's got to be one of that family. Yeah. is to have it associated with a late summer water thing. I forget what they call it.
Hmm.
Maybe they'll have it. Okay, Pittsburgh. Anything? Pittsburgh. Oh, the regatta. There you are. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, so they had it as late as
Usually
2000.
when I think of a regatta, I think of rich ass people on their like sailboat yachts.
Yes. Yeah, and they had it as late as 2016.
Hmm. Yeah. It's hard to imagine boat races being a priority these days.
Yeah.
Oh.
Patrice, what do we got that I am to the looking to making over here?
Hmm.
Okay, then. Yeah, here we'll just take this and we'll do this. We will copy and
Wait. Oh.
we will paste.
Hmm.
And then there's this cat who's being a cat. Yeah,
Well,
that's a
I
personal
don't
point
know
of
if you
view.
I don't know if you were watching it, but Xander decided to take up residence on my lap.
Oh
Oh,
my, oh my, oh my, oh my.
Yeah. So last night or no, sorry, it was yesterday afternoon. I was playing with the Switch in bed, and Xander decided to just right onto my chest. I still had room enough to hold the game, but his face was like inches from mine, and he was the most adorable thing when he was sleeping there. And it actually was very comfortable. It was like a stuffed animal.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have I'm gonna have to wait a little while for that to happen here
Alright,
because
it's been a while since
when it
we
gets
over there.
warm, I usually don't have a kitty sleeping with me.
well, Xander's less so than when I first got him, but when I first got him, he was like a blast furnace. I mean, maybe he was having the fever or something, but he was just like so warm. I could pick him up and immediately feel the heat radiating off of him.
I'm thinking,
Sorry.
do kittens run hotter than adult cats? I think they do. I'm not sure.
I think they do.
Start
Yeah,
streaming.
I've taken to
Okay,
calling
this may
school-
have fixed it.
I've taken to calling Stool Sample. Just because, he likes to misbehave, and I figure why not?
Get in there, Rhode Island. And you too, Connecticut.
Okay, looks like it fixed it.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
that's his woohoo.
Okay, I turned OBS off and then turned it back on, and at least we stayed. Yeah, I don't know why it threw me off. This
That's
does
weird.
happen from time to time, and I don't.
Seriously, stop with the OBS, stop with the bells and whistles, just have us. I mean,
We're
it
great the way
works
we
for
are.
a lot of people, but every time you try to use OBS, there's always microphone issues and configuration issues and this, that, and the other thing. And honestly, diminishing returns here.
What I'll have to do is look up a way to take the not the OBS, take, say, a StreamYard expense off as a business expense when it comes to reporting my income for Section 8 and everything else without killing myself.
But do you make money off of the YouTubes?
I get a
Because if you
couple.
don't make money off of the YouTubes, it's not a business expense.
Well, I get a couple bucks off the Patreon.
Okay, that might
I'd
qualify.
have to be begging for a little bit more because to pay for StreamYard is rather more expensive than what I'm paying for Google Meet. And then I cannot use the free version because there's a limit on the number of hours that you can stream, and you know how these go. My shows go way over the number of hours you can stream, and then when I go for more money to pay for the StreamYard, then I risk getting a 1099 and all this other happy stuff. It's the money that I've been doing the Google Meet, which requires the OBS. Because Google Meet will cost me $6 a month, and I know it's worth every penny of it. In other words, not worth it at all.
You know what? I'm looking at Patreon right now, and it looks like they changed something that I bitched about, and they changed it in less than a week. Because they had changed their income and earnings screen for a while, and it
Uh-oh.
wasn't showing you what you could expect from the current month. They used to do that. But now they've changed it back to where, like, I'm looking at what I'm going to earn in July, and they've even given it more detail. They have earnings before refunds, total refunds so far 0, earnings before fees, payment processing fees, platform fees, et cetera, and then earnings before tax. And I'm like, dude, thank you so much. You're giving me the info I wasn't having anymore. I very much appreciate it. So, I mean, for once, wow, feedback actually accomplished some shit. I am such a happy camper right now.
Yeah.
Like, I realize it's a minor ass thing, but oh man, I am so glad they did it. Because, I mean, let's face it, this is my livelihood we're talking about.
Yes, it is, and you do need to have that information, etc., etc. You especially. Yeah, with me, I don't know how many people noticed this, but okay, for the money that I would receive in July, at the 1st of July, I put a pause, as Patreon calls it, on that money because I'm trying to stay below the amount that would trigger a 1099. I want to fly under the radar so I don't run into more problems than I have to when it comes to Section 8, etc. And of course, I'm going to run into problems anyway. It'll eventually happen. I know that.
Well, I'm in a similar position with my student loans.
Yeah, okay.
But
Yeah.
actually, I would have to earn about 5,000 more a year than I do to start having to make payments.
What I really need, and I hope all you guys are listening, and spread the word and get people to do this, and I'll do what I can to make it worth your time and money and while and everything else. I really need an instant million subscribers, 10,000 a month in Patreon for the rest of my life,
Really?
so I don't have to worry about the whole money thing. It would be great were I good enough to make a living at this. I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not slighting myself when I say that. I'm saying I'm not good enough at this sort of thing to make a living at it in exactly the same way that I'm saying that I'm not good enough at high energy particle physics to to do high level research in that field. So
Well, go on.
yeah,
I thought you were done.
well, okay, I can tack a little bit on. I mean, I can work at it, and maybe I can do a little bit of work to be even as good as you are, Kate. But it's a matter of I've got to do that, and then I cannot inch my way up. It's got to be instant, otherwise there's a period where you lose more than you gain, and all that shit.
Well, I mean, ever since my parents made all those like really good investments, I've been in a much more comfortable place financially. And I have to say that the fact that I have one hell of a safety net keeps me calm right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
because if I didn't have that, I don't know what I'd be doing. I don't know how I would. I mean, I'd be terrified, frankly. But and also like I've had some people tell me, "Oh, you're so freaking privileged," and I'm like, I didn't start out that way. If my parents hadn't made those investments, I wouldn't have like a decent inheritance coming. They wouldn't be giving me like a couple of bucks a month. I wouldn't have this condo. But I never expected any of it. When they started like throwing all of this at me, I was like, what the hell's going on? Because I never expected my parents to have earned that much money, and yet they did. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that puts me in a really comfortable place right now in such an uncertain world.
Yeah, Purple, I hate to say this, and I know it sounds like I'm expecting everybody to be good to me. There's one person who does a lot of complaining on Twitter about these things, and every time I see that stuff, it's like, yeah, you don't have that privilege, just shut your mouth with it. But I'm not, I'm trying to not be one of these type of people. 1,000 a month wouldn't be enough. With my medical expenses, et cetera, no, I would probably, and of course, I'm always going to be the one who's going to be conservative, and I'm going to overestimate the revenue I need. I overestimate my expenses, underestimate my revenues. I'm guessing that I would need at least $4,000 or $5,000 a month.
It might be a good idea to say things like frugal rather than conservative, cautious rather than conservative,
Yeah,
considering
I
the
know.
connotations of
Yes,
conservative these days. But one of the
absolutely.
reasons I brought up the money thing was because how I tried to sell swag back in the day and people gave me shit for it, and
Mm-hmm.
now everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
Well, someone inspired me, and they said here is a shirt they would very much like to have, because it's based on one of my intros and it is kind of interesting. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll give making my own shirts another go. It's a way of making money, and making my own money so I don't have to rely on my parental units. And I was looking at Teespring, and you can get a shit ton of profit, far more than Zazzle ever offered.
Ah.
So I'm thinking I might give this a whirl, and so that's a thing now.
Hey, I've been. You heard me playing the United States game. Basically, I've got the United States tattooed onto the back of my eyelids at this rate.
Well, you know what I have to say about that?
That had to hurt.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, and all. But, you say United States enough, my brain goes to Yakko's World.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I actually did that as a joke once whenever... I like to do that as a joke whenever a creationist goes, you can only find the geologic column in one place, Kate.
Well, I mean, geologic column, yeah, but what about geologic pillars?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
right,
purple, the whole 1,000 a month thing. I mean, were I not here in this building and everything else, my realistic expectation of an apartment like this one at market rate would be pretty close to 1,000 a month.
People with low income should totally live in California because the threshold for medical care kind of high.
And how about everything else,
As in
though?
the threshold for losing medical care, I mean, kind of high.
Well, how about everything else, though? I mean, what do you need to pay in rent and groceries?
Well, you might have to live out in the hinterlands. You might not be able to live in San Diego or LA, but, California has smaller towns.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I'm saying things like that, I mean, Shasta County, for example. What's it like trying to live there?
Well, I don't know. I only know the soda, but I mean, I'm sure it's less than San Diego rent. Has to be.
Well, yeah, but the reason I'm thinking it has to be less than San Diego rent is due to get much higher than San Diego rent. Well, yeah, there is San Francisco, but besides that.
And there's Los Angeles.
What I'm saying is you have to not be in a city, is my point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here we go. I don't know about the size of your apartment, but it says, I'm looking right here. Average rent, and this is just an average, in California, 1,420 smackers. And then it says average apartment size, 1,020 square feet. Now, if you need less than that, I'm sure your rent will be less.
I am living in approximately half that at the moment.
There you go. Let's say, they have a listing of, wow, those are all pretty expensive. Okay, what the hell is Y-O-Y change?
Easy my not to knowing on 422 by 428.
Okay, it says here, year-over-year growth. That's what it is.
I'm gonna head off because I want to play a game with a couple of friends of mine.
Okay,
so see y'all.
Dalla poste. Enjoy.
Will do.
Although the rent trends I'm seeing, the curve is flat, almost. I mean, it's like this rather than this, or rather than this. It's da 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 da. No, it's da 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 da. It's really small.
Well, there you go, Greg.
I see. The black line is national, and the orange line is California. And California is lower than the national average, not by a lot, but lower.
Yeah, Greg, I'd have to have a motor vehicle, and there again, you're going to run into all sorts of expenses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, realistically, I'd kind of need a motor vehicle to live here, but I mean, I can manage. I do manage without one, but barely.
Okay, there was now granted, this was a sci-fi novel, so I don't know if it's true, but they were talking about things that Tesla had come up with, and one of them was a way to make it so you could have electricity just by plugging shit into the ground, that it would just be energy, like I think it was using some weird ionization thing or something, I don't remember exactly, but apparently, I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but he was this big old mogul, put the kibosh on it because Tesla could not give him a way to charge for it that it would just be free and there was nothing you could do about it. And so Tesla's funding was cut for the project, and it never came to fruition. And I wonder if someone out there can replicate it, because man, that would make everyone's life easier.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I have to wonder about stories like that. I do have to wonder if they are more fantasy than anything else. Because you hear so many of the people with it would have been free energy and all this stuff, but for
It
the
was
U.S.
JP
government
Morgan. JP Morgan is the one who said no.
Well, no,
It's the investment advisor.
it would not have been Westinghouse because Tesla actually worked for Westinghouse, and Westinghouse was known for doing everything he could to help his people out, treat them very well.
Well, I'm in the thing I read, it was JP Morgan who said no.
That makes
Alright.
more sense than George Westinghouse.
Okay, guys. I'm going to head off. I've got to get ready to go over to my mother's and put her stereo together. I don't want to. So I'm going to be the radio monkey today instead of the computer monkey.
I
So
don't
looking
know
forward
to
to
into.
this. So I will see you all later. You guys have a good day. Enjoy, guys, who are watching the program. Everybody take care and stay safe.
We're gonna give it a try, and you be good and have fun, honey. Yay!
I will. I'll see you on Tuesday, hopefully. Unless, of course, my mom drugs me out to do something and stresses me out to the point that I have a headache.
Chay. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's see. I'm seeing something about it. It says Tesla managed to convince JP Morgan that he was on the verge of a breakthrough, and the financier gave Tesla more than $150,000 to fund what would become a gigantic, futuristic, and startling, no Oxford comma, and startling tower in the middle of Long Island, New York. In 1898, as Tesla's plans to create a worldwide wireless transmission system became known, Wardenclyffe Tower would be Tesla's last chance to claim the recognition and wealth that had always escaped him. Now, I'm not seeing the part where JP Morgan told him to fuck off with that, but this article is also really, 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 really long, so it might be later. But, yeah. Oh, I might have gotten to it.
Moo?
Well, I'm not seeing the part that I heard about where JP Morgan said screw off because we can't charge people for it. We can't make money off it.
Okay.
But at least I got the JP Morgan part right.
Yay. Yay.
So,
Yay.
yeah.
Yay.
Well,
Yay.
whatever.
Yay. Yay, 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 yay. Yes, I am weird. You
But
knew that.
I keep hoping that we develop some pretty kick-ass solar panels at some point so that we can put them on cars and you don't need to pay for gas and all that stuff. I mean, okay, what's weird to me, you get all those oil moguls, right? And when solar power starts being a thing and the environment starts being a thing, why couldn't, like, if I was a mogul, I would have said, okay, I'm going to start transitioning to solar instead, selling solar panels or whatever. I'm going to roll with the times and not have these oil wars with people.
That's because you're a fairly decent person, unlike those guys. Yeah.
I don't know. I see money as a means to an end, not the end in itself, as I've said many times. And, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember those times, Greg. Nuclear power was supposed to be too cheap to meter.
Yeah, that worked out. I don't know. I was going to say something and I lost it. Never mind.
Oh my, I don't know. It's difficult for me to get into the heads of the oil moguls, that sort of thing, because you would think that early on, when you started seeing the solar power, etc., they would have said, yeah, this is the wave of the future, and it would be a good idea to transition there, because what we're doing at the moment isn't going to last all that long. But no, no. Instead, they have to do this whole conspiratorial thing, and you end up with what you have now, which is not fun at all. I mean, these people are lobbying to kill the planet upon which we're supposed to live. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's what Amiga's
I
got the
am
idea.
messing with them,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, I can only imagine what the world would be like if I was in charge of it.
Okay.
I mean, I'll never be in a position of even 100th of that power, but I still wonder, like, a world designed in my image, what would that be like?
I often wonder that. I mean, from my own perspective, were my ward law, what would the world be like? And I'm thinking it'd very likely be a bigger mess than it is now. But
Well, step one of my plan, if I were in charge. Step one. No, I'm asking you to guess.
Oh! Step one of your plan: kill all the stupids.
Close. Execute William Shatner.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember. Was it Macbeth or whatever? The whole thing. First, we kill all the lawyers. I'd like to know. I can't remember which that line was from. But yeah, I ought to do something on that line. First, let's kill all the lawyers. There we go. And
then eat the rich.
I
mean, honestly, like, it's hard to picture not executing rich people for their crimes.
I know.
I mean, like it, or even just like stripping them of everything and forcing them to live in poverty for the rest of their lives, or at least long enough for them to go, okay, I fucking get it.
I have to wonder. Yeah, I did find it. It's Henry VI, Part 2, Act 4, Scene 2. And the full quote is, the first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. I have to wonder how a t-shirt like that would catch on, rather than the quote itself, which would probably get me into a lot of trouble. What if I made a t-shirt upon which was printed Henry the Sixth, Part 2, Act 4, Scene 2? And I know a lot of people wouldn't get it. I know.
Well, I mean, okay. Here's the thing. I would rather keep the lawyers and kill the billionaires.
Oh, well, there.
I mean, lawyers, sure, they're obnoxious and they're often self-serving, but at least they don't, like, have the power to put their figurative boot on the neck of humanity the way rich people do. Because they have to operate more or less on the individual level, rather than, making these huge Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, like whatever, having effects on the world the way they can.
Yeah.
Because they have the means to do far more than, like, Shecky Greenberg trial lawyer. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
And I've always been amused by the name Shecky, but not as much as the name Shmuley. Because there's this, like, famous theist dude that we were arguing with many years ago.
Yes.
Named Shmuley Boteach.
Yes. God, he is annoying.
And I could not see that name without just going Shmuley, Shmuley, Shmuley. I don't know. Yeah. It's a funny ass name in my book.
One of my favorite takes from the Hitchens debates was where Hitchens and Boteach damn near came to blows on the stage at the 92nd Street Y. Ah, I like it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm seeing another one that has nothing to do with this one. Let me share that. And Xander is chasing rabbits. Present now. Winder. Wonder how rabbits got to be the go-to for what cats chase while they're dreaming. Why not mice? Xander chasing field mice.
yeah,
Mm.
there you are.
I mean, did you hear about that one congressman who had to give a non-apology apology recently
Yep.
because he called Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez a fucking bitch,
Yep.
like right to her face?
Mm-hmm. And she let him have it without going ballistic. Oh yeah.
But he starts like his apology that sort of sounds like basically he describes the situation and sort of sounds like he's apologizing, but at the end he says something like, "I will not apologize for loving my country and my God." And I'm like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, did he call her a bitch for dissing religion or something? I just like what I don't know.
Is am I looking on the thing?
Oh, and I don't know if he was being made fun of or what, but apparently his last name is Yoho.
Oh yeah,
The hell
right.
kind of the hell kind of name is that?
Is am I not annoying? Where does that come from?
Oh, hey. 17 hours ago, Ted Yoho resigns from Board of Christian Organization following AOC incident.
Oh, okay.
Mm. I don't know. It's hard not to tell a guy like that to go stuff it. Let's see.
I do not need.
Oh, hush you. I'm just looking. I hate when videos or autoplay.
Yeah.
See, so the organization here, we believe that Representative Ted Yoho's recent actions and words, as reported in the media, are not reflective of the ethical standards expected of members of our board of directors, the organization wrote in a statement. So, yeah.
Wait,
Now, okay,
wait.
I have to say, what?
A somewhat a Christian organization with some veneer of respectability? What the
Apparently.
hell is that, man?
Oh, here we go. It was a conversation about her position on unemployment and crime in New York City. And he was the one who initiated it, and he called her disgusting, told her she's out of her mind. Let's see. AOC said he was being rude, and Yoho said fucking bitch as he walked away. And he didn't apologize for calling her a fucking bitch. Or well, actually, I guess it says he denied it. But he says that he apologized for the abrupt manner of the conversation. And it says here he denied using the vulgar term to describe her and said that he was very cognizant of his language because he's married and a father. He also said it's true that we disagree on policies and visions for America, but that does not mean we should be disrespectful. And Yoho's office told CNN in a statement Tuesday that he made a brief comment to himself as he walked away, summarizing what he believes her policies to be. Bullshit. Okay.
Yeah, well,
AOC on Friday rejected his claim, saying that no one was accosted, bullied, or attacked during their exchange, saying Yoho and a Texas Republican lawmaker were both lying as she revealed new details about the viral incident. Okay. Yeah. So, I have to say, though, the resignation culture does kind of bug me, where it's like oh, you said one little off-color thing. Now you have to resign from every position you have. It's like there's no there's no leeway. There's no oops, I made a mistake. No, you make one mistake, you're out. Persona non grata. And
Yeah.
while I'm amused that this has happened to someone I disagree with, whenever something bad happens to someone who's on the other side, just remember they can always turn it around and use it on you.
Well, you remember the whole Al Franken affair.
Exactly. Yes, that was part of what was on my mind when I said this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like it's just insane that they expect this of people. It really is. I mean, and again, never hand someone a gun unless you're sure where they're going to point it.
Yeah.
You know? So, anyway.
Oh my
No,
word.
AOC refused to accept his apology. Rockin'.
Yay.
Now, okay, to be fair, AOC does seem to be slowly morphing into a typical Washington politician. I've seen some of her policies that seem really outside the character she presented, but they seem to develop over time. I think she's being infected by DC culture.
Entirely possible.
But
yeah,
anyway.
realizing that to get anything done, she's got to play the game, or playing the game because it's to her advantage in other ways. I don't know, but yeah.
Amiga Nuts, I'm not sure I ever saw Network. Is that the one with I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore?
Yes, that's the
Okay,
one.
I've only seen that clip. I don't think I've watched the movie. I've only seen that clip. So, in answer to your question, nope. Yeah, good point, Purple. Would any Republican in Congress be out of office for the same thing Al Franken did? You know, they might be. I'm trying to think, but I think there have been some. But you're right that Republican attitude, at least, would probably try to find a way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that does seem to be a thing where if you're powerful enough, you are free from the consequences of your actions. I mean, by any stretch, Trump and what's his face, last administration,
Turtle Man?
shot his friend in the face.
Cheney.
Yeah, Cheney. Both of them should be up for war crimes, either in Gitmo or The Hague or whatever the fuck, you know. But because they're too powerful, we just give them a pass. You know, I mean, watch how many people Trump pardoned for past shit.
Right.
You know?
Right. And well, there's the
It's
other
like
thing.
you get powerful enough, you're immune.
Or the other thing is, if the people who have some degree of control over whether or not you get censured want something you are offering, and I'm talking to you evangelicals, and they want, especially the whole abortion issue, and they're willing to deal with any of his sins to get what he is delivering to them. You know, the court nominations, et cetera, that they see as leading to a reversal of Roe v. Wade. Anyway.
Oh, go on. I thought you were done.
No,
you have these long pauses in what you say.
Well, my thing was, what I said was I said, yeah, it's, what I was going to say was yes, so anyway, you know.
Well, to what Sample just said in the side chat there, Network is sexier than corn? What the hell are you doing with corn? Where are you putting it? That it's so sexy. Like, even if it's not as sexy as Network, still, where are you putting that? And let's not even get started on Children of the Corn.
Hi, sweetie. Yay.
But anyway, I probably should stop calling him Sample, but it's fun to needle him. Well, I mean, let's face it. You know, when we first met, he reacted to almost everything I said with an insult, but I could tell that it didn't really have any malice to it. So I started giving as good as I got.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I mean, now we've reached a kind of detente to the point where we've been alone in a live stream and we're quite civil to each other for a very long time. So, you know.
My. Can't
So
have
I should
that.
probably stop calling him Sample just because that is mean and rude.
Aw.
It's still funny. I'm sorry, it's funny. You gotta name yourself anything to do with stool, and what else are you gonna call someone with that nickname, huh?
There you go. Oh my. Scheiße, scheiße, zu viel Scheiße.
Mm.
And, yep.
I was never there 9 months ago, right? Yeah, I know some people who answer the phone that way. Who is this? I was never there. You know, that kind of thing.
I've thought of doing that sort of thing, but I do get the occasional important call, and I don't want to answer an important call that way.
Well, when my parents contact me, be it phone or email, I will often say, "What? What'd I do?"
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, had I ever answered the phone, when the slimy bastards were calling, had I ever answered the phone that way, they would have told me what they thought I did. Yeah, in no uncertain terms. Yeah, yeah. You breathed.
Yeah. Quit breathing my air. You made me bleed my own blood. All of those things that bullies would say. It's just like, okay.
Uh-huh. The Brozhnev.
Yeah. I'm still amused by you made me bleed my own blood, though. That one's funny. Like, whose blood could you have bled? You know, like, did you have options and you just went with your own after someone hit you?
There you are. I just don't know. He's in my note to knowing.
Well, maybe I don't know, but I suspect.
Okay.
Well, it seems reasonable enough.
Okay, I like it.
What?
Purple says, back when I had an answering machine, my message, what?
I'm looking.
My message was, I'm doing experiments in nonlinear time. If this works, I should have returned your call before you leave a message.
I don't know, like when people do like cute shit on their answering machine, like, okay, leave a message. It's like, okay, people know how answering machines work or voicemail or whatever. I've often thought about just making my message.
There you are.
Beep. That's all. Or speak now, beep. That kind of thing. Or even just silence and a beep.
Okay, then. I've actually had a couple of those, yeah. I seriously considered for a while leaving my message in Russian. But I figured with the people that were calling at the time, they would not understand it, and they would be all over me for it.
Now I want to do it in Klingon.
Now you're talking.
Wow, did I ever just misspell English? English to Klingon. Here we go. How do you say leave a message? I'm willing to bet that beep is not a Klingon word. Like, I've encountered a lot of English words that do not translate into Klingon. Yep, I was right. Beep is not a Klingon word. Wonder if there's a website like Mark Okran's website or something where you can ask him to include words that aren't yet included in the Klingon dictionary.
Oh.
But okay. It looks like the message in Klingon is Kin Mej. I'm some Mej, M-E-J. Kin Mesh. I don't know. I'm not sure if anyone will get it.
Right. This the difficulty.
I have a lot of friends who are sci-fi nuts, but when they want to contact me, they don't do it by phone.
I like Harmonica Man's. He says, my goal is to live happily. If you have anything that would hinder this, I suggest you call Dr. Phil. Yeah, I'd like to know what to call him. I could think of a few things. Moo.
Okay, that's not how you spell apistivist, though. It's Tevist.
Moo.
Hmm. Yeah. It's apistevis rather than apistivus, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Just saying. And that word, I don't think I've submitted it to Urban Dictionary, and I've seen someone submit it to a regular dictionary. The problem is that they defined it really badly.
Okay.
Because the actual definition is one who does not use faith as a method of coming to conclusions. That is the actual definition of apistivist. And the one they submitted was something like someone who, or not even someone, it's like not using faith, especially in the religious sense.
Oh, I've seen that
Something.
definition. Yeah.
And I'm like, that ain't it. that is not the definition of apistivist, really. So, and I get to say so. I created the damn word, just like the developer got to say it's pronounced GIF and not GIF, and you're all getting it wrong. So, you know.
Oh my, oh my. Now you're making me want a peanut butter sandwich.
I haven't had breakfast yet, and I kind of want to sandwich my own darn self. Mind you, I've been noshing on these peanuts a bit. So I'm not like ready to leave the stream because I haven't had any food
Moo.
like I usually. But you remember what I was saying last time we spoke, that one way to lose weight is to keep your metabolism revved, and one way to do that is to constantly eat small bits of things. And I figure, 4 or 5 peanuts an hour, that'll keep my metabolism revved.
Oh, okay. I was wondering whether that was a jar of peanuts from Target. No, it's from Kroger. Okay.
Yeah, I have to shop at Ralph's. Which is funny because I didn't realize how far Kroger's reach was. In Seattle, they have a chain called QFC, short for Quality Food Centers. And to be perfectly honest, their quality was much better than Ralph's is. But I didn't realize how many companies, places, whatever Kroger has their hooks in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, Purple, true, but this right here is how much I've eaten in the last 3-4 days. So, I mean, moderation, yo.
Oh man, I don't even no, I don't know what that word means.
But, what, yo?
No, moderation.
But, I mean, like I said, constantly having food and having to digest it is actually a decent way of losing weight. Mind you, you do have to do the rest of the work, like exercise and stuff, but...
Yeah, I've leveled out at about 202, so...
I'm kind of confused by what Purple just said. Eating gay men would be better? I don't get it.
Yeah,
actually,
Purple.
there is because it sounds like Amiga Nuts is representing some sort of. Oh! It's the network. It's the movie. Okay, I thought you were talking about something else. There's actually a series on Netflix right now that I'm kind of curious about, and if I wasn't binge watching 3 different shows, I'd watch it. It's sort of a documentary about the mob and how they were broken up, Gambino and all of those guys.
Moo. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not that I don't already know, but I want to see the thing anyway, just to know more. I mean, I'm still amused that Al Capone was brought up not on his like nasty mafia crimes, but tax evasion.
That's all they could make stick. Yeah.
Yeah, but it amuses me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And did you ever notice that an anagram of peanuts is stun pea?
Okay.
I don't know. I was just looking at the jar going, huh. I don't know. I'm still amused that Neil Armstrong backwards is Norts, Mr. Alien. For a while there, I was trying to greet people with Norts, but nobody got it and I couldn't get into the habit, so.
There you are. And yes, he never said, "Good luck, Mr. Gorski."
Huh?
Oh, that was a lounge comedian joke for a while in the, say, around 69, 70. Legend attributes it to Buddy Hackett, where guy wanted oral sex from his wife, and she answered with, "The day I do that is the day the kid next door walks on the moon."
Oh.
And the kid
And
next
I'm
door.
guessing that kid was Neil Armstrong.
Yeah, and it's just legend. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't shock me that it's legend. I mean, there are so many of those.
Oh, yeah.
You know. Problem is, I mean, I'd want to look it up to see more. But if you look up urban legends, you're going to get a lot of like chupacabra and Sasquatch, as well as famous people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I suppose you could try looking up urban legends about celebrities or some shit, but
Yeah, and then the very final part of that whole thing was allegedly as he was ascending the ladder to get back into the lamb, he was supposed to have said, "Good luck, Mr. Gorski." Yeah, but yeah.
well, that's annoying. This isn't a list.
Well,
Well, I clicked on a link. The wildest celebrity urban legends you probably thought were true, and I'm not. Oh, I see. That. Wow, I never heard this one. Jennifer Lopez recently told a late night talk show host that she never had an insurance policy taken out on her butt.
okay.
Did J-Lo insure her ass? Let's see. The rumor about J-Lo was widely reported several years ago. And okay, I'm not seeing more about it. Weird. It like a lot of these are very non-specific. Whatever. I wonder if it's like, okay, this is one that I know isn't true, but you remember for a while people said that Mr. Rogers wore those sweaters to cover up like soldier tattoos?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny to me the camera angles that Star Trek had to use to hide the fact that Scotty's missing his middle finger.
Oh, right.
You know, I mean, for those who don't know, man, was he shot up during like World War II or some shit. I mean, dude took so much enemy fire and lived. And one of the things it did to him was blow off a finger. And they tried so hard to make the audience not see it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And no matter what you do, it's eventually going to be seen, but, you know.
Well, I mean, actually, not so much. I mean, there's one or two shots where if you're very eagle-eyed and willing to go frame by frame, you can spot it. But, you know, when Star Trek first came out, nobody had access to that. No actual citizen had access to that. So, like, the technology to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, there are whole websites dedicated to like Easter eggs and crazy shit in like movies and TV. I saw a video not too long ago, a couple months ago, about little things that people had put in animated movies. Like I'm trying to say it was in The Rescuers, I think, where they're like falling in a city, and one of the windows, very briefly, you can see a naked chick.
Ah.
Like one or two frames of this naked woman in one of the windows, and I seem to remember it was like a photograph rather than a drawing. And like there's an urban legend, and I don't know if it's true, about the guy who made the poster for Disney's The Little Mermaid. And in the background, if you look at the castle, one of the towers is clearly a dick. And people were like, this guy was just pissed off at Disney. They fired him or something, took away benefits. I don't know what. And he decided to draw in a penis on the cover of The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
You know, there's just little things like that just stuffed into movies where it's like, did you know that's a thing? But one thing I decided to try, and frankly, it's not working, is to put subliminal messages in my own videos. It's just one word. It says subscribe. And I don't know if anyone noticed it, but it's there and it's not helping.
What, did the subscription count go down? You know, people start unsubscribing.
Yes.
Oh,
Actually,
no.
yes. Now, I don't know if anyone has spotted it, but it's in there.
I haven't seen your latest. I have to look at it.
I'm going to have to stop doing it, you know? Because honestly, like I said, it's not helping and it's kind of underhanded. But I wanted to run the experiment anyway, just to see what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be that I'm getting it wrong. Like I remember seeing a thing once where it said, okay, subliminal messages are best if they're this number of frames. And I don't remember I think it was 4 or 5. I wouldn't say 5. I think it's 4. But you know, that optimizes the effect. That's why in that one episode of Babylon 5, when they put a fake subliminal message in there, it was long enough that you could notice it for real because it was a joke. You know,
yeah, okay.
like they were running this ad, like the Psy-Corps, the psychic people in Babylon 5 are kind of evil puppets of the government that's also evil because it's run by the shadows, but whatever. Point being that in this one episode, they were doing sort of a documentary about life on Babylon 5. And when the crew watched it after the camera session, it had been edited in a really like dishonest way to make Babylon 5 look worse than it was, to make Captain Sheridan and all the others look evil and under the thumb of alien governments and this, that, and the other thing. But at the end of it, they ran an ad trying to convince the viewer that the Psy-Corps was great. And if your like kid was displaying psychic tendencies, you should bring them to the Psy-Corps. We'll give them training and food and this, that, and the other thing. You know, take the expense off you. And then, like at the very end of it, it flashed up something that said the Psy-Corps is your friend. Trust the Psy-Corps.
Okay.
But I mean, you know, everyone could see it because it was too long to be a real subliminal message. And you know, you pause the frame and there it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Let's see here. I can probably pull it up. Psy-Corps subliminal massage. Yeah, here we go. Got it. Copy image. And present now, a window, and go.
Balkesha.
So there, the Psy-Corps is your friend, trust the Corps.
Okay,
And
then.
you can see like little Billy there, so happy he's now a member of the Psy-Corps.
Now,
You know, and you get the smiling Psy-Corps officer who's just like, this is A-okay. And mom is just looking so proud at little Billy. You know, and it's, yeah, that was a thing.
Okay, then I'm just wondering. I don't know the ins and outs of this whole thing. Is that too much content for a subliminal message?
Well, I don't know about that. I just know that it was on screen too long.
Move beef.
Yeah. And I've been trying to find that balance between the audience can see it and the audience can notice it, if you see the difference.
Yep.
So, I mean, that one's not easy to do. But like I say, I'm gonna stop doing it. It's not helping. So fuck it.
I don't know. I might have to. Well, I'd have to make films first in order to do it, but perform some experiments. Something simple where it's a subliminal message that says something to the effect of write a note to Lavender Lady, and then based on the number of notes I get with the particular wording, then I know how much reach that subliminal message has.
I don't know. Part of me is just tempted to fuck around a bit and flash up a subliminal message. Your mother was a hamster, that kind
There we are.
of thing. Just to mess with people. There's a chance I like messing with people.
I would never have known.
I don't know. It's funny. I'm like, I looked for that subliminal message thing online, and I'm looking at some of the other images that come up. You ever see the thing that says World War II's best kept secret? Hitler was a woman.
Okay.
I am so amused by that one. I remember seeing that when it was new in the supermarket.
Okay, good old National Enquirer, all that shit.
I don't know if it was specifically the Enquirer. No, it was called Sunday Sport.
Oh, okay. My aliens caught in TV license fiddle, and
I mean, if you look, he's like walking around in a dress here.
yeah.
All right, let's get rid of that. But yeah, that amused the hell out of me when I first saw that. I was like, really? Does anyone buy this?
Oh my. From, let's see, shishisadventures.net, we have How to Make Your Own Subliminal Messages, the Ultimate Guide.
Yeah. Well, in any case, I might be getting to the point of hungry in a way that Peanuts can't help.
Okay, so
I really should have breakfast before these things, but I crawled out from under the rocks so late this morning.
So, okay, you're not one of those people who can get where you're going on an entire jar of peanuts.
Oh, I could get there on an entire jar of peanuts, but eating them piecemeal the way I've been doing, not so much.
Okay. Yeah, because
I mean, I'm not eating it for nutrition. I'm eating it to rev my metabolism.
Okay, because yeah, one thing I was noted for, I haven't done it lately, but yeah, I could sit down and have an entire jar of peanuts in one sitting. Of course, I was weighing in 40 pounds heavier at that time than I do now, and there may have been a connection. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know. There are so many memes coming out about like Trump and fascism and all that stuff. I want to use that Hitler likes this hand that I just posted, but I know that Facebook will decide that's ban worthy. Facebook has exactly zero sense of humor.
Oh, right.
Like seriously. If you step over the line even a little bit, but it's ironic, they do not care.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting here. Okay. From Nick Kolenda, do subliminal messages really work? Research shows that subliminal messages in self-help tapes are effective, but they are effective because of the placebo effect. The subliminal cues themselves are essentially useless.
Then I don't get what he's saying then. I mean, okay, if if it's useless, then where's the placebo? I mean, are people going to react to the subliminal message by doing or thinking what it says? How can they if it's a placebo?
That's what I'm wondering. Is the only thing I can think of is, are these tapes where the listener knows that there are subliminal messages implanted? Doesn't know what they are, but but knows that there are some. It says, "Oh, okay."
Well, I mean, but the idea of a subliminal message is that they don't know it's there at all. I mean, if they know there's going to be a subliminal message, then they're looking for it, and
Yeah.
that's kind of not the point.
Mm-hmm. I don't have the entire OG thing here on the boo thing and the food thing. What I'll do is I'll read this whole thing one of these days, but I'll put it over in the moo here, along with the OG and the foo. It'll just go into the moo, and there's the site I was referencing. Wait, stimulus.
So, my most recent video had been given the yellow dollar sign, and I bitched at YouTube partner support, and they said, "Good news, a review team has decided it's actually okay." So, yay.
Yay. But of course,
Yay.
they decided it was okay after the
Quite a bit
period for which monetization would have been effective.
Yeah, and I'm trying to hold their feet to the fire right now. I'm asking this guy about the objectivity of their human reviewers. You know, I mean, what if you get a human reviewer who feels personally slighted because you've criticized their religion versus, oh, look, luck of the draw, I got someone who doesn't give a rat's and realizes that it's an intellectual discussion I'm having and they approve it. I mean, you know, I'm curious how much personal feelings are a factor.
Mm.
You know, what if someone doesn't have my sense of humor or doesn't get it or whatever, and they hear some like clever turn of phrase, or at least what I intended as a clever turn of phrase, and they go, "Oh shit, that was an insult. That's beyond the pale, over the line. We can't have that." I wonder.
Yeah, he's not.
And well, I've asked the guy over and over and over, and he refuses to address it.
Okay.
So hopefully he'll like concentrate on that now that my video is approved.
Okay, then hopefully.
Yeah, but I mean, like I've been telling him, look, I really want more details about the process of reviewing videos because like all of us who make videos are in the dark about this. I mean, there are so many times where I look at the rules that they say are ad friendly and I feel I'm following them to the letter, but I still get demonetized. And I'm like, so the rules that we're told and the rules we have to follow are not the same.
Uh-huh.
But I can't get him to address it either. And I'm just like, what the fuck, guys? Really? Oh, Purple, I'm sure they do because they're like, I've disputed claims and they've accepted it. And I don't know how the algorithm could decide that it had been wrong. Like if it gives it a second time around. And I have this horrible, horrible feeling that one of the reasons my video was flagged by the algorithm, if not the people, was because I used the word homo. Now, I did not mean it as gay. I meant it as homo sapiens. But they still might have gotten pissy about it.
Okay, then. And that's the sort of thing that really, really... I don't like it. Okay, yeah.
And let's face it, what does that syllable mean, or those two syllables mean anyway? It means the same, right? Like homogenize.
Mm-hmm. You know, come to think of it, something I remember seeing much in the past, and I don't remember seeing it. But then again, I wasn't looking for it. Do you see cartons of Homo milk the way you used to?
I'm pretty sure. But then again, I've been buying lactose-free milk for so freaking long, and I haven't really been paying attention, but probably.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, because I remember it being out there, and I mean, to me, it was no big thing. But as I think back on it in the conversation now, yeah, is that something they
Now,
would have got rid of?
speaking of dairy products and things like
Mm.
that, there is a British comedy show called Chef, and it's absolutely hilarious. And at one point, the main character, the chef dude, Gareth Blackstock, goes on this like quest for unpasteurized Stilton cheese. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know what the difference is in terms of cuisine. I don't care about the chemical process. That's not the point. I want to know why it's better to eat it. Does it taste better? Does it have a better texture? What is so appealing about unpasteurized cheese from a cuisine point of view?
Gee, I am not knowing. I do not
Yeah.
know.
And the only reason I hit as hard as I could on the cuisine part is because I know if I hadn't, you'd be explaining how to pasteurize things and why we do it.
You know me too well. Okay.
All too well.
Oh my. I do know
So,
that you have to go through all sorts of hoops in order to have raw milk. At least
well,
here in Pennsylvania,
no-
especially. Hmm?
well, on the show, one of the points was made that it's illegal, apparently.
Not here. You have to
Well,
you have to do some jumping, but you can do it.
let me- at one point, he like encounters a cop or something, and the cop is like, "So what are you doing here? At this farm where you're buying the unpasteurized Stilton?" And he's like, "Oh," and he has to show the cop the cheese. And then I think he like gets out of any kind of ticket or consequence by offering the cop like food for life or some shit.
Okay.
You
Okay
know,
then.
it was part of the plot was just he gets caught and he has to deal with the cop in a funny way, blah 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 blah. But it is an absolutely wonderful show. I think it's hilarious. I mean, the first season's the best, and the third season, but it's still an amazing show.
Mm. Now here in Pennsylvania, in Amish country, you can buy shares of a cow and then have the rights to that percentage of the milk that the cow produces. And that's how you can get raw milk, at least here.
Uh, okay. Yes. Okay, I'm looking at a picture of exactly the milk carton of the milk I buy. And in very hard to read print, because this is a small image, it says grade A, homogenized, ultra pasteurized.
Okay then.
So, yes, homogenized is on my milk.
Oh. Okay, I may not have been clear. What I remember seeing is homo milk, spelled HOMO space MILK.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, in that case, I don't know. Let me type it in here. Well, I'm seeing a picture of some. I don't know how recent it is. The picture looks good, but it says Island Farms Homo Milk, and under it, homogenized milk.
Uh huh.
In fact,
I
I'm
see the
seeing a
one you're.
lot of pictures.
Yeah, I see the one you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Where the homo milk is in, and I love the little tweet that's on the one of them. Yeah, is homo milk actually from gay cows? But yeah.
I'm seeing that picture, and it doesn't really give context, but it says like in Canada, whole milk is something, and it literally says on the carton, tastes like homo.
Oh, jeez, no thanks. I'm not getting any of that stuff.
I'm like, okay, if you say so. Uh, yeah, but I guess this is Canadian milk. Like, I wonder how Canadian milk is distinct from milk from anywhere else, not just the United States, in terms of like what taste, texture, quality. I mean, I guess it's probably from Canadian cows, but is that a necessary distinction, or is Canadian milk different in some fashion of which I'm unaware?
The first thing that would come to my mind would be that they might fortify it slightly differently than the U.S. does. Maybe they put a couple extra vitamins in there or something. I know the U.S. does vitamin D. I think they do vitamin A as well, but I'm not sure. So you may or may not have differences there. What do we have here? Okay.
You don't get it.
Well, is knocking the Dungeons and Dragons game over.
Okay. Well, it's just every time I've heard you say DM, you mean direct message, and I wasn't sure if you knew what it meant in this context.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yay!
But I thought it was an entertaining little thing to make, because that is my own work, and I don't know. I mean, you've seen all the pictures I made where you've got the crucified Jesus doing all kinds of other things, like directing air traffic and being a drummer for Steel Panther and all of that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You've seen those, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My personal favorite, and I think this is the most clever because I've never seen anybody else come up with it, was Jesus as airplane ground crew.
Yeah.
I have seen nobody else think of this one. Like all the other ones I thought of, there's a meme of that somewhere, but that one is all Kate.
Oh my. Okay. So I see this with 4 health reasons for why American milk is banned in Europe, but that's Europe. And
well, fuck everything Americans banned in Europe these days, because wow, do we suck right now?
Oh yeah. Well, I guess the EU doesn't like the growth hormone that American farmers use on their cows.
Does that get into the milk in any way?
I guess it does. I'm guessing that from here.
Because I mean, like, when I hear about people wigging out about GMOs, I'm like, what do you think has happened to these animals that we eat, that, or even plants, that genetically modifying them will make them unpalatable or like bad for you, or what? Or is this just some sort of techno fear?
Well, as far as the genetically modified stuff goes, so that's techno fear, absolutely. Because let's remember that the digestive system does a pretty damn good job of tearing apart the stuff that you eat, and it certainly doesn't shove anything into the cells, directly from the stomach. So, yeah, stuff.
And when you think about it, isn't pretty much any domesticated food genetically modified in one way or another? I mean, like, when Ray Comfort was having his whole argument about bananas are the perfect fruit, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is that the bananas we know today are bred specifically in a certain way. Like, if you look at natural bananas, what they were before, the seeds were like the size of walnuts.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And it's like, if someone loses it about genetically modified food, you kind of can't eat anything.
Yeah, and of course they're careful to make that. Well, some of them are careful to make the distinction between artificial selection and then the gene insertion techniques that are used on actual GMOs. But even so, I mean, the gene insertion techniques, you're not going to get any of that out of the digestive system. It's not going to transfer over to any of us who eat any of that stuff. And the benefits well outweigh any of the risks. You've got the childhood blindness that was all but eliminated in certain areas of East Asia with the golden rice. Do you know about that one? Oh, okay. I forget who it was, but this person or company or whatever figured out how to place the gene that controls production of vitamin A in rice so that the rice produces the vitamin A, and these kids who are vitamin A deficient were now getting enough and they didn't go blind.
Fair enough. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm sure there must be some sort of regulatory agency. I'm sure there must be testing, of all of these GMO products. Has to be.
That's what the FDA is for.
Yeah. And I mean, I understand people going, oh, government agency, can't trust that. But at the same time, if you have private companies building these things to sell them, it's probably in their best interest to make sure that it's safe. That people aren't going to say, well, screw that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's just, like I say, it's probably techno fear. Lots of Luddites out there who want to stop everything.
Yeah, there are.
I mean, that's the problem with, like, the government today is we kind of have to outlive all of those fuckers because they're not going away willingly.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh well, I don't see what else you can do. It's like I can't think of proactive efforts that I, as an individual, can take to get people to knock this crap off.
No,
what can I, as an individual, do short of like trying to organize a protest or something, or a petition or something? Because otherwise, as just me, am powerless. I'd have to motivate other people, and I don't know if I can do that. I'm not an organizer by any stretch. I'm terrible at that crap.
Now, Purple thinks that the GMO scare mostly came from irradiated food. So people jumped to GMO equals radiation. And they even fucked that one up because you expose... I remember the whole irradiated milk when people were afraid of it and everything. You expose the milk to gamma radiation. The milk does not become radioactive, people. Okay, it's absolutely known that does not. The gamma radiation disrupts the life processes of any of the little bugs that might be in the milk, but that's as far as it goes. Yeah.
I often wonder about that, though. I mean, like, if we're consuming dead bugs, is it still bad for us? I mean, it seems like that's something that wouldn't be okay. Because we can get sick off of just meat or whatever.
Yeah, I suppose that in some ways it would not be a good thing to eat the dead bugs. Because as you say, yeah, whatever they produce that sickens us may still be there, and it would sicken us anyway. But I guess you have to be thinking pathogen specifically.
And well, I mean, I guess they put expiration dates on shit because eventually it'll go bad, but it seems like it would go extra bad after a while just because of all these corpses inside your milk.
Mm-hmm.
Or they rot. I mean, maybe, they put preservatives in there to make sure it doesn't happen or something, but still.
Oh my.
I don't know. This is the kind of thing where it's like I'm possibly talking out of my ass. I'm saying what makes sense, and I may be completely wrong. I mean, how many times does that happen where people are like, oh, yeah, clearly the world works this way, and it's like, yeah, but there's information you don't have that makes it not.
Well, I don't know if you're talking out of your arse or not. I mean, your lips are moving, and it's synchronized pretty well with the syllables, so...
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Purple. Basically, what I had yeah, what I was after when I was speaking of that. I mean, if something that produces the toxin that's involved in botulism is dead, but it's still in the stuff, if the toxins, yeah, you're still in trouble.
So I'm confused about something.
Yes, dear.
What is a lism that you can botch it up so bad?
I am not exactly sure. I don't even know what a good lism is. I mean, to compare it to a botched one.
Oh gosh, why am I? Oh, that's right. I crawled out from under the wrong side of the rock this morning. That's why
I'm
I'm
putting you
stuck.
to sleep. Yeah, I know.
Well, I might genuinely. Well, no, I mean, I woke up when it was still dark out, and I was like, no, 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 not ready. And I tried to fall back asleep, but the kittens decided that the bed was a battlefield, and well, we see how that went.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of gave up and read a book while I was like still in bed and waiting for the sun to come up, but it did not help my energy levels.
Yeah, well, there's a problem that I will run into if I wake the at the wrong time. If I wake at 4:30 a.m. by 4 p.m., I'm going to be totally wiped. I'm just barely awake, just crawling to stay, hanging on to try to stay awake. But waking at 4 a.m. like that, if I try to go back to bed, it doesn't work. I can't.
Oh,
Um,
oh, oh, I know another reason.
Moo?
When this show started, I was already kind of late. And so I did not make my coffee. That could be part of it.
Okay, could
I
be,
am
could be,
not
could be.
caffeinated. I mean, I'm guessing on that one, but it seems reasonable. And I have
Yeah.
to say, as much as I'm enjoying the use of a French press for real coffee beans, I need to get a bigger one because the one I have does not fill my mug.
Oh no, it's that small.
It's like, okay, I need an example. I don't have a cup or anything, but let's put it this way. Okay, if this is the size of the mug, it fills to about here.
Okay, so you're speaking of, say, a demitasse rather than,
Oh,
is it demitasse, demitasse, um,
I have no
really,
idea what you're
really
talking about.
small cup? Let me see if I can find it. The,
What? Wait. The cup is large. It's the French press that's small.
yeah, in other words, the French press makes enough for a demitasse, but not for a
I don't know what the hell
regular.
a demitasse is. I've
Okay.
never encountered that word until today, ever.
Oh, okay. It is a French term. It is French
Well, that
for
would be wrong.
half cup. Um,
No,
this,
no, 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 no. Well, okay. See, the problem is I don't have a mug here, so I can't accurately convey how little there is, like how much space is left once I've poured out the French press. I can't accurately convey it with my hands, but it's not half. It's more like,
well, I think
I
that
don't know, 2/3 ish.
yeah, this small coffee cup holds about 2 to 3 fluid ounces. They are half the size of a regular coffee cup, hence the name half cup.
Well,
Um,
again, it's not half, bigger than half.
okay.
No, I've definitely, I wonder if there's an American word for that, an English word for that. And I say American not to be American centric, but because, gosh, how many times is there something in Britain that has a different name? Like I spent years not knowing what the hell an aubergine was, you
Oh
know?
yeah, an eggplant. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like that's why I'm saying, is there an American word for it that Americans use? Because hell, for all I know, in Britain they use demitasse, or maybe they have their own word for it. I don't know. So I'm going with my native country just because it'll be easier.
Okay then. I'm not seeing anything on a quick lookup. Um, yeah, they're just saying.
Oh, and of course the way you pronounced it, I totally misspelled it.
Yeah, DEMITISSE.
Yeah, I was hearing OSSE.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's try it this way. Thesaurus.com. Demitas. I know. Let's see. Okay, coffee cup, jug, flagon, stoop, or no, is that a T? I can't tell. It is a T. STOUP, whatever the hell that is. Tankard and Toby, of all things.
Toby.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. But it just says coffee cup, so actually, now that I think about it, the mug I'm using is a little bit bigger than your standard coffee cup.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't considered that, and I'd get up and try to show you, but I'm pinned down by Xander again.
Yeah, well, I get the idea more or less because, well, a standard, and I say standard in quotes, U.S. coffee cup is 6 ounces. So, excuse me, I've got the idea of that size, so a little bit larger than that, say about 7 ounces, because 8 ounces is a cooking cup.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about any of that. I just know that it's a mug. Let's see. Like I honestly could not tell you ounces. Like, cups, liters, sure. Ounces for liquid, not so much.
Okay,
But
then.
I found a picture of what looks remarkably like my coffee mug. And I wish I had a side-by-side comparison to like a more standard coffee cup, because I honestly could not tell you how it's different. But
Well,
let's put it this way. This is a more standard coffee cup.
Moofby.
Oh, I see it here. That mug I posted before, the one that's more like mine, 14 Auses. Whereas a more standard coffee cup seems to be 11 Auses.
Okay, fine. And I must have one of those 14 ounces things because what you showed was basically what I'm using. Yeah, shaped that way and everything.
So mine is a little bit bigger than I'm sure what the French press is expecting. But I should still, I mean, hell, there's no reason not to have 2. I'll put a bigger one on my watch list.
A moo.
Okay. 14 ounce French press. Oh, this looks like the one I bought right here. I'm wondering if it says, seeing a lot of 12 ounces here. That sure looks like the one I bought, but it says 2 cup capacity. That can't be the one I bought. Let me see here. My orders. Maybe I can get to the actual thingy dooter. Yeah, it says 12 ounces on the one I bought. All right, well, I'll find a 14 ouncer and put it on my wish list.
Well, okay. You could always do something close to what I would end up doing. I have from a place called Dean Supply a thing for $10.90. You can buy a 33-ounce French press coffee maker.
Well, that's a bit too much for me. I don't need that. I'm seeing this thing that my dad bought a while back that's basically a self-contained French press travel mug.
Holy shit, self-contained.
Yeah, like you put the coffee in, you put the coffee grounds in, and then you press it and you drink out of it.
It's amazing. It's got to be done pretty well, otherwise you're going to be drinking coffee grounds, and that's not all that appetizing.
No, and you know what's weird? Like, I don't really like the smell of coffee grounds too terribly much, but when the French press is done with them, they smell absolutely foul. I mean, like something went wrong, foul. But this is the one I'm talking about. That's the one my dad uses. Although I think his was black rather than red, not the point. But that's a 15-ounce French press travel mug.
Interesting. Bodum, the fresh way to make or to brew fresh coffee and tea.
Yep. So, yeah. Not really seeing anything that's what I'm after, though. I mean, I'm seeing, like 12 ounce and 17 ounce and 32 ounce. I suppose 17 ounce would be fine. But, I mean, well, like, to measure the water, I just fill up the mug anyway. So if I put that in and then have the pressy thing like lower than they expect. I wonder if I'm sure that has an official name, the pressy thing, but I just don't know it. So I suppose that could be it. Plunger is one of those words, much like, say, engineer or doctor, where the first time I encountered the word and then for years after, it meant one thing. And then I encountered the other term. Like the first time I heard an engineer in a context of not the dude who drives the train, I was surprised. The first time I heard doctor for like scientist, I was surprised because I thought that was a medical doctor. That kind of thing. So, looking at something that's supposed to make a consumable coffee product and saying, yes, that's a plunger. I'm like, plungers are for toilets.
Yeah, okay. Oh man, I wonder what.
Like I realize that's an automatic reaction that I should suppress, but still, that early reference sticks with me and makes me think, ew, that's gross.
Okay, I have it up here on the thing, as opposed to the other thing. It's on the thing here. $29.99 for what you showed me in black. But where is the freaking difference here? Because they have one here on the Google page, shop now, from Bigamart is $48 and from Bonanza is $81.
Well, on Amazon, I'm seeing a Bodum French press coffee maker 17 ounce for 26 smackers.
Okay. Yeah, and then
I don't know why it's so much more expensive than the one I bought.
And I'm seeing over here on the Google page, says the capacity is 12 ounces, and they want, like almost 3 times the price of the one you showed me.
Oh, wacky fun. Sorry, I'm looking at, there's like multiple options for the one that I'm looking at putting on my wish list.
Okay.
And let's see, what happens if you buy a shatterproof carafe for it? What happens to the price? It like almost doubles. You make it shatterproof? No, actually, I'm wrong. No, it doesn't. I was thinking of something else. 39 to 43. That's far more reasonable. And the reason I would want shatterproof is because my dad brought one, like he bought one when he came to visit, and it was destroyed almost immediately. I don't know why. I don't know what he did with it, but kaboom.
Very, very
By the shatterproof carafe, you have to get 34 ounces, 12 ounces, or 51. It's not available in 17. God damn it.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to add the non-shatterproof 17 Oz's to my wash list. If someone wants to buy that for me, let them. But for now, I'll make do with the one I got. I'm gonna I've been explaining to people that I organized my wish list according to priority.
Move.
So I'm gonna move that sort of towards the middle, not so much the bottom.
And okay.
Like it's below four Nintendo Switch games. The last season of The Big Bang Theory, a thing of that Iron Brew soda that I've been curious about since the 90s, and a Firefly t-shirt that looks like an old NES game cover.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then the doorknob had made a little comment here, and the first thing I thought was in reference to Triumph, the insult comic dog, which would be, the Google page sounds like the newspaper you put down for me to poop on.
Yeah, I remember that. I never understood why that was supposed to be funny, honestly.
I think it was supposed to be funny in the same way that Don Rickles was supposed to be funny.
Yeah, I know Don Rickles' face. I'm not sure I've ever seen him try to be funny. But regardless, I still don't get why it's supposed to be funny. I mean, you can say, oh, it's funny like this other thing that's funny. Well, maybe I don't know why that one's funny either.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess some people think that hearing somebody insult somebody else can be funny. You know, what are you going to do?
Sorry, someone's wrong on the internet.
That happens all too often. It is the bufu. You're not a bufu on the beefy, yeah. But...
All right. Well, this one schmuck on my Facebook page. Like, I posted this meme where actually, you guys saw it. It's the one where the feds are beating up on the Statue of Liberty. And
okay.
he's like, in my humble opinion, we should trust the feds a little more on a lot more issues, especially with handling the riots that are getting out of control in this country.
Oh,
little more force is necessary for the good of the people, he says.
Oh, please.
And I said to him, dude, the protests are good. It's the government's response to them that's horrible. The protests are for equal frickin' rights, and you hate them? What's wrong with you?
Well, I suppose that a Trumpista would hate that sort of thing, yeah.
I don't even know that he's a Trumpy, though. He's just being a schmuck. Okay, here's a question. Which one's worse? Like, what's worse, the guy who knowingly does something horrible, or the guy who just ends up doing something horrible because he's too stupid to know better?
Oh, wow. Yeah, in its own way, it might be that is the person who unknowingly does something stupid might be the worst one, because as long as that person goes uncorrected, that person will continue doing the bad thing.
By the same token, the person who does it on purpose may refuse to stop because they're not vulnerable to reason or compassion.
Well, that's, you're pretty much describing the present day GOP. Yeah, okay, I get you.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying is what I don't know. I mean, how do you tell who's worse? Honestly, I want to say it's the person who's doing it deliberately, honestly, because ignorance can be corrected.
Okay.
I'm not sure that being an asshole can.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, there are people who maybe they go through some sort of weird ass trauma or something and decide to change their ways because of it. I don't know. Something inspires them. But arguing with them and telling them this is what you're doing that's so horrible probably won't work.
Yeah,
and
okay.
even if it's not getting their defenses up and that's why they won't let it work, I think they'll probably just go, yeah, different priorities, bitch. I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, which we see from, Purple's basically saying that as well. The person who does it on purpose is worse because correcting them won't help. Yeah.
wait. Correcting them will help. Attempting to correct them won't succeed, though.
Okay.
You see the difference?
Yeah, there's that little bit of
I'm
semantic
trying to
thing
change your
going on there.
mind. I'm not changing your mind. Versus I've changed your mind, but you're still doing the shit.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Uh-huh.
So, anywho. Okay, I definitely need the food. I'm gonna take off.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Anyway. Okay,
I'll
so
like the plague, and I hate to move Xander because he's being cute and cuddly, but I definitely have a vacuum going on here in the gut. So
okay.
Xander, stop that! Why do you put your claws on my chest like that? One of these days you're gonna catch a nipple. Anyway. I'll see you later.
Thanks, hon. You take care. Be good. See you Tuesday, hopefully. And
most likely.
oh yay. Oh my. Kate Forrest left the building. Okay, so let me get. There we go. Yeah, better to see one version of my ugly mug than two versions. And yeah, so that's the way it's going today. And over my shoulder, you can see how we're doing with the box of water. Some of the plants have started to die back a little bit. Others taking off like crazy. And it's not only is it plant dependent, it's instance dependent, if you will. And you start the same plant under the same conditions in two different tanks, you'll get two different results every time. But pretty soon I'll be doing a little something with that box of water, and you might see a little motion in there, and everything will be good. And okay, what I may end up doing then is I may actually find a little bit of breathix here, because I have not had any, and yeah, I'm actually kind of desirous of some. I'm not sure what I'd have. Something pedestrian, of course, but what are you gonna do? But as I always say, I want to thank everybody who's here. I want to thank everybody who's not here. I love that you guys like this thing. I really do. I keep saying it. I keep meaning it. It's a really nice feeling to make you guys happy about something, to do something you like. Wait a minute here. Honey, what needs a turret with a 12-inch cannon? The box of water? Yeah, it's even getting a little bit lighter, which is to be expected, as the dissolved stuffs do their thing. Yeah, you got a point there? Got a point? Oh my, oh my, oh my. But yes, it's so wonderful. I thank you. I really, really, really do. Just for simply liking this stuff and coming back every time. I'm amazed that anybody would actually like some of the stuff I do. Well, I know you're coming back for Kate. That's why I come back. So okay. Okay, I can't say that I've done that any time in the recent past. So I don't remember Doorknob Head, if it feels that good or not. So not that I'm gonna run out and step in any bullshit, you know. The name tank for an armored vehicle, I believe, was a British code word, was it not? they were trying to confuse the the German Empire, that they were producing tanks for holding liquids. Yes, Amiga, I didn't get a cake as such. What I did was yeah, that's what I thought. I got some pound cake, some ice cream, some strawberries, and some whipped cream. And I built strawberry shortcakes. And that was some pretty nice stuff. I hadn't had a strawberry shortcake in quite a while. And I may do that again before the strawberries all go bye-bye. But we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, there you are. Oh my, oh my, oh my. So, yeah, one of these days soon, I may be doing a video about stocking with livestock in the little box of water there. We'll see what happens. Not before the end of July, but the end of July isn't that far away anyway. I mean, it's the 26th here. So, oh my. I think I get that reference. But, oh, not bad at all. Not bad at all. I couldn't find the particular pound cake I was looking for, but the one I did find was pretty nice. It was vanilla flavored, which, as we were discussing earlier, it's quite a bit different to just plain old cake flour pound cake. So it did have the vanilla flavor to it, and that made it really, really nice. Yeah, it was a few bucks for the thing, but what the heck, I hadn't done it in a while, and as I say, I remember the days when I used to get the very, very large strawberry shortcakes at that particular restaurant in Middleburg Heights, Ohio. Yeah, it was between doing that and picking up a German chocolate cake. Yeah, give it a shot. What I did was I found the pound cake that was already sliced. There were, let me think, 8 slices in the container I bought. So I put 4 slices in the bottom of the bowl, scooped some vanilla ice cream in. Meanwhile, I had the sliced up strawberries macerating with sugar. So by the time they finished sitting there, you had the juice going, and it was all nicely sweetened and everything else. Pour that over the ice cream, and then spoon the whipped cream over that, and it was yummy and tasty. Many much. Like I said, I just may do it again. And I mean, these are the sorts of things I end up doing. But I'm weird. You already know that. Yay! And okay, as I say, I love you guys. I really, 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 really do. Come on by on Tuesday. Wait a minute. For some reason, I'm reminded of the little boxes of cake mix, where you only have to add 1 egg and water and then mix it. Used to eat all the batter without even baking it. Okay. Yeah, now they're going to tell you don't do that. It's the raw eggs and all that stuff and everything else. Yeah. I haven't made one of those cakes in a while. Yeah, the good old Duncan Hines. The strawberry prep, I would leave those in the bowl for maybe about 20 minutes, half an hour. I'd leave it out on the counter. and the sugar, I guess it's an osmotic process that goes on. Seems to draw the water out of the strawberries and makes a little bit of like a syrup. Oh, in your easy bake oven. I never had one of those. I really wish I could have had one of those, but no, I didn't have one. And, well, they thought I was a boy, and you didn't do that stuff for boys back in those days. That was, being a sissy and all that shit. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those things got a little bit warm. I know that. You could easily burn yourself on one of those. I think they may have had, I don't know if it was a 75 or a 100-watt light bulb. But yeah, I mean, if you were going to bake a little cake, that would be pretty warm, pretty warm. Oh my. But anymore, no, I don't use the Easy Bake Oven. I just use over here. And someday I'll actually film it. I hate not being able to film the cooking, because as I keep saying, whenever I cook something, I've got to eat it. And I'm doing everything I can to take some pounds off. I'm steady at about 202 right now, which is about 20 pounds more than I want. Yeah, well, Donnie can go screw himself. What I want is to have pretty much a complete reversal of this administration in the next administration. I know it won't happen, but it would be nice to go back to at least where we stood in December of 2016. But what is to do? Is am I not knowing? I like the LEDs. I do. Yeah, you pay a few bucks for an LED, over an incandescent light bulb. But still, that LED is going to last you. I mean, I'm still using LEDs that I bought 5 years ago. No, come to think of it, longer ago than that. This floor lamp I have here, I bought LEDs for it when no, 5 years would be about right. Yeah. Yeah, and they're still going strong. The only thing I cannot do with the LED lamps is put them in the fixtures that have the covers. The ceiling fixtures that have the glass lenses on them. The heat builds up and it screws up the rectifier in the lamps. Either that or it screws up the diode. I'm not sure which. But yeah, they don't last but only a few weeks. So yeah, I mean, instead of, I think I would replace the incandescents about every 6 months or so, maybe every year. But I know that the LEDs have paid for themselves already, so no big deal. Okay. what we will do is start to wind ourselves up over here. And I may have a little bit of a surprise coming. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I may have a little bit of a surprise coming on Tuesday. Depends on how things work. Yeah, compliments of a few very, very nice people. And I will, I'll leave it at that and see if I can't unveil it on Tuesday. We'll see. But in the meantime, until I see you guys again, which is hopefully going to be in about 48 hours, I'm going to say this. Thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.